a chicken and make her name it gay!
That's not how the Force works.
I don't care!
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Rage 210, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm actually not doing great. 3 days ago, my neck completely fucked itself. I don't know how. And I've had a headache for 3 days, but today it's just like really bad. I was considering canceling the stream, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. Not with Andor going on. We've got to get through it. So we're going to push through. We're going to push through despite how I'm feeling. All right? So we've got a little bit to talk about. We've got a little bit to catch up on in regards to just some news stuff. But the main thing that we're going to do tonight is obviously go through Andor as much as we can. I know that there's a lot going on. It is Anzac Day here in Australia. So to all our veterans, current servers of the military, everybody, we thank you for your service. I do apologize that for everything that you fought for is currently being put to the test and put at risk. But thank you all the same. What else? Yeah, maybe maybe it was that. But let's say hello to the chat really quickly. I'm going to be off my game tonight, guys, so I do apologize. But like I said, I really wanted to push through because, 3 episodes of Andor, we got to talk. Well, like, I'm not doing videos. It's too hard. I was thinking about it. I just sat down on the couch this time and actually watched it. I took down some notes. I was horrified after the first season of how much I noted down. And I was like, I can't do this for each episode. So we're just going to roll through it. And we're going to use the screen, the images and stuff to... man, there's so much wrong. I was rolling my eyes so much, I can't even begin to tell you. But let's say hello to some people in the chat. We've got Darth Ghostface. We've got Jordan Star Wars. How you doing? Lara A. She always going to be back later to watch the stream. We've got Mike Hill, of course, the great Mike Hill. Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Pro Jack fan. How you doing? Good to see you. The Bistro. 1, 2, 3, 4. How you doing? I think I said that name wrong, but that's me. We got the Nuisance Bird. How you doing? Good to see you. Denga Renegade. How you doing? And I see you, Dr. Confinails. Chris, see you. Let's see. Fear of Femur as well. I was going to go through. Did you guys watch the Predator trailer? I haven't seen it yet. I always try and save these things. Like, I've seen the image, obviously. I've seen the image of the Predator. You can't miss stuff like that. Watching Andor? Oh, my God. Yeah, it's all right, man. It's okay. Andor's an interesting one because I'm interested to at least see what other people are saying about it. I was just watching some of Critical Drinker, and he had a good panel on because I know Robot Head. I'm glad that Robot Head was there because he will really he'll say how it is, and he'll because I know that he thinks that all of this stuff is garbage, and I don't know how much of the lore he actually knows. Yeah, I know Chris Gore thinks that it gets better. And that's going to be the interesting thing to see. And I understand what Mauler was saying in regards to, the fan base is so splintered, and it really is. And Disney's done it. Disney's definitely been the one that have done this. But Mauler's case is a little bit interesting, I find. I still would like to be able to say to him, look, these things don't make sense. He'll listen to Ryan, and Ryan makes very, very good points. But, when it comes to Andor, I don't know, did Ryan watch Andor? I don't think he did, Andor Season 1. I can't be sure. I can't remember exactly. But, if I was to say to Ryan, these things don't work, do they? And he'd be like, no, absolutely not. When you actually, I don't know. And that's kind of the different levels of fandom that there are, how much lore you do and don't know. But then it's the ability to actually listen. And the great example of that actually is myself. When I started my YouTube and everything, I thought the Clone Wars was actually really good. I'm ashamed to say that now. But Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, I thought it was really, really good. And then after talking to Ryan and after talking to Lethal and also listening to people like Matt Wilkins, just people like that, OG Star Wars, and that changed my perspective on it. Because then I actually understood how it did break certain parts of the lore or certain canon, So my ability to be able to go, I see, yes, this thing that I did like, when I actually think about it in a little bit more depth and look at these things through the lens of actually understanding the lore better now, it actually doesn't make sense. Did that destroy my enjoyment of it? Yes. I was almost about to say, unfortunately, yes. But it's actually kind of fortunately, yes, it did. Because now I understand. Star Wars Theory having a meltdown over X. This is the thing, and even still on that stream, on Critical Drinker's stream, he said I was on Ryan's stream and we were talking about the grape scene and there has been grape in the books before and in the EU before, and there has been. I know that there were people on Twitter even asking me, where is this? And it's like I've never read the stories. I only know this because of watching Ryan's stream, but apparently Boba Fett's wife gets graped. And throughout this stream, guys, I might change between graped and raped. Like, there's no avoiding this conversation, because this conversation, it's kind of funny too, because I find with some of these shows when they release them, the conversation gets hijacked by one particular thing that happens, but then everything else in, let's say, that episode or in the story in regards to what is bad gets ignored. And then once people get past that, it's like, see, it's fine otherwise, or whatever. But then, yeah, just going back to what Theory was saying, like, you know, he's fine with it being in the books, but he doesn't think it should be shown. Now, the scene that we saw, I don't think is I don't think it's necessarily like that bad, really. I think it was more unnecessary. Biggs has already had a lot of trauma with the mind device thing that tortured her, you know, and apparently while she was there, she was having bad dreams and she was raped while she was there. And this is why I made the post, like, what, all Imperials now are just rapists? Is that what, you know, yeah, we understand the Empire is bad. You can do it in so many different ways. But despite that, okay, let's say she was to just have the dream like she did in episode 1. So now we understand that while she was captured in season 1, she was not only mind fucked, right, by that device, and that tortured the shit out of her, and she was bad. She was in bad shape when Andor showed up, right? But then we also learn now in this season that while that was going on, she was also raped. And then we also get this scene in episode 2 where the guy's like a real sleaze and trying to, you know, and it's just lucky that the I can't remember his name now, dies at the end of episode 3, shows up. But then in episode 3, he's not there. So, you know, that's where that scene goes down. And, you know, Robot Head made a really, really good point. Like, if she had have just said, he attacked me instead of he tried to attack me instead of he tried to rape me, it's not diminishing the fact that I just think it's just so unnecessary, though. It was so unnecessary. We had so much understanding of how much trauma she had been through, how afraid of the Empire she would be, despite now being more afraid because every single Imperial to her is now just going to be one of them. Like, it's just, and it's, like I said, it's hijacked the conversation because there's so much wrong with it. There's so much wrong with it. And we're going to go through it. We are going to go through it. Man, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry again. We're going to be all over the place. G'day, OG Star Wars Double A. I see you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What are we going to do? Oh, and did you see how Tony Gilroy reacted to it? It's kind of interesting too, and Robot Head again made this point as well, but it's interesting too to see how quickly they had these articles or these things about that scene just ready to go. I don't know. It just seems like they knew that the conversation was going to be hijacked by this. This is what the episode was truly about. You know, when there's bad regimes out there and there's bad things happening in the world, bad things are just going to happen to everyone. You know, I'm sorry if I make some horrible noises. I'll try to avoid it directly into the mic as well. Oh, Mon Mothma, what are they doing to you? My God. I'm going, okay. So, Tony Gilroy is trying to justify the scene by saying we're all products of grape, basically. If you go back far enough into history, you'll find that somewhere in your lineage, you're a product of that, is basically what he's trying to say. And in isolation, the quote that they're like, that some places have pumped out there make it sound really, really bad. And I do understand basically what he's trying to say, but again, it's so unnecessary. Why is that the justification for why we're putting it into Star Wars? Now, again, I'm not saying, like, you know, especially after watching Ryan's stream and stuff like that, I'd never read the Return of the Jedi novel. And apparently what happens with, there's definitely a lot more implication than just him licking her, which we do see, or getting close to licking her or whatever. But, there's so much more to that. Pretty gross. But it does cut away. But this is why, like, I don't really... there wasn't a massive thing that actually happened in this episode, this last, why is it just fucking... This is the thing. Again, they've made this like it's like almost as a distraction to distract you from all the other bad in this episode. And it opens up bad. Let's just go into it. Like, why fucking beat around the bush with this? True? How am I going to do this? That up. I'll turn the volume down. Subtitles are on. I do have my notes from the first episode. Like I said, I got through the first episode and I was like, I can't sit here and just take these notes. I was pausing so I could take notes. So obviously this episode is called 1 Year Later. We're going to bring this up. Boom. Now, there was something like, I know that this is tiny, but I still want to point it out. Is it going to jump? Why didn't it jump there? Do I have to? Oh, God. So there's a couple of things at the beginning of this. We're jumping a year past the previous season. We've jumped a year. 1 year later. There's no... Now, I know that they release like everything that you need to know on Disney Plus, all of that kind of thing. So anybody that was interested would go and watch that. But I still think that they should have done at least some sort of recap, first of all, just to catch people up to where we ended off, right? That didn't go back and watch any of the catch-up stuff because maybe they didn't care. But they should still do it, right? But also, too, there is no crawl, there's no information to tell you where the characters are now or like where we are in the galaxy. This is the thing. You've got 3 episodes to tell an isolated little story, I guess, within like a year after the events of season 1, and the only thing that you're going to see after this is a year on from that. So this has to be pretty isolated. So at least give us some information in regards to where we are with the characters. Because Andor is now just working for Luthen. Now, I need to go back and I do need to just like maybe watch not that I want to or care that much, but see where we ended off, because I can't really remember where each character's story ended. But so there was that. But then there was also, oh, have I gone past it? The BBY4. Now, look, this is a nitpick, and I'm going to fully admit it. But this almost seems intentional, because forever in a day, we have called it 4 BBY or 20 BBY. We've never gone BBY 20 or, 1000 BBY. We've never gone BBY 1000. This almost seems to me that this is Disney's way of just changing it for no particular reason. It's all supposed to be Star Wars, right? Oh, no, that's right. They decanonized what they didn't want, which was nearly everything. But look, that stands out to me. Why is it not 4 BBY? Why is it BBY 4? When I read it, it just didn't sound right. Does it sound right to anyone that's a Star Wars fan? BBY 4. BBY 4. No, 4 BBY. Yep, that sounds right. So that was the first thing. The next thing is it basically opens up with just body positivity, traded to the Empire, checking over the test tie. And it was like, there's so many scenes that I just find like, especially like when she's walking up there, like this is a test machine. And like the only thing in the hangar is a droid, like no guards, like there's no, and when it finally does get taken over, like Andor's able to get into it, and he is posing as an Imperial test pilot. But like it just seems like this world just seems so dead of life. There's no aliens in this entire fucking thing. I don't think we see many, if any. Droids, yeah, you see the occasional one like this one, but it's a nothing. It's a nothing droid. It really is, and there's not many other droids. So it basically it's so funny how this is also edited and cut as well, right? I gotta say that. I gotta say a lot of it does look good. And that's probably because a lot of this was probably done a little bit more on set than in the volume. There's a lot of shots that actually look fine. But that was kind of the same with season 1. It's kind of the same with season 1. Oh man, my head. Test Factory 73. Signer? I don't even know how to say that properly. So Andor is there. She's been told, given instructions not to look at him. She's basically an Imperial worker that's now going behind the Imperial's back. There's no real... I honestly can't really remember, to be honest, if there was actually too much... I'm just checking over my notes. No. I just remember this conversation being like, it just felt so forced. And then like they get interrupted by like she's basically saying that she needs to say that you're a new test pilot if they get caught. He's a new test pilot. They got stuck talking and they got flirting and this kind of thing, right? Yeah, see, sorry, I was told not to look at you. He's like, you can look at me. Like you're risking everything. And then they get interrupted and they start whispering. And she says, oh, he was really cute. And have you been part of this very long? It's just, hang on.
I shouldn't ask. I'm sorry.
You're risking everything. You can ask what you want.
If I die tonight, was it worth it?
Yeah. So this is just like it's designed to, make you think what Andor's thinking all the time. If I die, was it worth it? And there's something to it, I guess. We know that he dies and we know that it was worth it. We know that as the audience. Because we've seen Rogue One. We've seen the movies. And this is obviously connecting Disney's canon to the 6 movies. Try and make it make sense. I can't really remember. All I wrote for this was conversation. This is how fucking annoyed I was by it. I'm like, what the fuck?
You've done this before. You must have thought about it.
This.
I'm going to get in too much trouble if I just play. So we can't really do that. So yeah, they have this conversation. Then they split up. She's like, I need 12 minutes. He's like, is that enough time? And then he walks down into the hangar, jumps into it, sees this ship that he has no idea how to pilot, and tries to take off. Let's see what. Now, I just want to remind everybody how weak TIE fighters are. Now, yes, I know that this is a new TIE. It's got new weapons on it. It's got these crazy ass weapons on it as well. But it's this new test TIE, and it might be a little bit tougher than other TIE fighters. But, when we've seen TIE fighters, bouncing off walls or something, they're not bouncing off the walls. They do, but then they just go off and smash into the other side of, let's say, a cavern or something like that, right? I mean, I was almost ready to count how many times this TIE hit something. I think he gets the weapons all gone. Oh, hang on. I just skipped past it. Oh, and the other thing too is like the comedy that they try and throw in here is so insufferable. It is so insufferable. Oh man. I wish I could just play it. I wish they would just allow you to fucking just play it, because the amount of times he does bounce all over the fucking place is insane. Boom. Boom. He's just touching the roof. Now, okay. These guys have just walked in. No one was guarding this thing. There was a droid, that mouse droid thing that was in there when we first saw this hangar. And he Andor shoots that as soon as he walks in there. So it doesn't even get an alert out. Nothing alerts until he actually tries to take off, right? And he actually flies backwards. The controls are basically inverted, right? So these troops just walk in there. Now, they haven't been able to see inside the cockpit yet, as you can see there, or anything like that. And this is a test type, like this is a prototype. It could just be fucking malfunctioning. Could. Fire at will. It's just to me, it's so silly. So silly. And also, too, even if they were to see him inside the cockpit, because a big fucking window, they would see that he's dressed in Imperial shit. Now, there is the fact that obviously there's probably no flight, test flight, logged or anything. It's, so there would be that element of that. But also, too, wouldn't they know that their blasters aren't going to do shit to this thing? I mean, it keeps bouncing off the fucking walls. And then not only that, when he comes out through, I got to show you this shot too. Where is it? Oh, the rocket launcher guy. Now, also, too, I want to point out that, he's started to gain a little bit of control over this thing. Still doesn't really know how to fly it. This is supposed to be, comic relief again. It's this gun underneath it here. And it blows a big hole in the blast shield. Blast door, I should say. So then he decides to use that gun to just blow a few big holes in the thing. And this is the problem with doing it like this. Like, I want to point out to you that there is still blast door parts there. A TIE fighter, any normal TIE fighter would not be able to just fly through that. But he does. And then it hits the ground and bounces and bounces and bounces and bounces, and all he does is bounce. This whole fucking thing is just, he gets followed by TIE fighters bouncing off the side of the canyon, scraping along the walls. If these TIE fighters did that, they'd be gone, boom, straight away, because they do. Again, it is a prototype. Maybe it's a little bit tougher, but I'm telling you now, with how much this thing bounces off the walls and everything, it's almost like the ship in Ahsoka. When Ahsoka's ship, I can't remember exactly, it gets taken out by the TIE fighter. That's right. It gets taken out, crashes to the ground. It's smoking, it's flaming, all of that shit. And then at the end of Ahsoka, the ship shows up and it doesn't have a fucking scratch on it. It's the same thing with this thing. Are there any stakes in this? Does Andor get killed? I wonder. It's got me on the edge of my seat. I wonder if Andor gets killed or captured again. See, scraping it. Oh, bounce. Like, look at this. I'm watching this, and this is why I put that tweet out there. This was the opening scene that I saw, and I just could not believe what I was seeing. So I can't remember exactly how he gets them off his tail. I think that's right. He goes into like a canyon, and the canyon, like a cave almost, and the cave starts caving in, takes out the TIE fighters behind him, and he just makes it out. And then, of course, it cuts. We've got to catch up on where everybody is, because, of course, they didn't do a crawl. They didn't give you anything. And now these people are just at places where we really have no idea where they are. So this is Biggs. This is where Biggs is at. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, this isn't Biggs. This is Biggs's dream. So that opening part is Biggs's house, right? But she's looking from the perspective of the guy that was doing some of the mind fucking with her in season 1. And that's when we get the dream where, Biggs, wake up. Hey. So it implies there that she was actually raped in season 1 while she was being tortured. And I can't exactly remember why she was being tortured. What information? It had something to do with like what Andor was doing or involved in. I can't remember exactly. So to imply that, okay, yeah, she was in season 1, but then to actually have it happen again where she's creeped on in episode 2 by a different Imperial, and then it actually happens by that same different Imperial, or at least, attempted to happen. It's just so unnecessary for me. Look at what Biggs has already been through. You already get that sympathy. Oh, but is this supposed to be empowering? So it implies that Biggs has grown, because in season 1, when she actually was, and that's why she's got PTSD and she's having these dreams, when it actually did happen in season 1, she couldn't fight back. But now in season 2, she's grown enough as a strong, independent woman that she, it actually happens to her again. What are the chances? It actually happens to her again, and she's able to fight this guy off to the point where she kills him. Success. It's a great success for women's rights. Like that's just that, to me, that's that story. And it's so unnecessary. So unnecessary. So the guy, I can't remember, he's from season 1 as well. The boy that comes with them, all 3 of them. And they're there illegally, I should say. Then it cuts to Chandrilla. Now, the wedding ceremony stuff happens over 3 days. Surprise, surprise, we've got 3 episodes to show those 3 days. Now, this is like some of the stuff that goes on in here. I'm not going to deny there's interesting ideas and there's interesting concepts in this. But there's conversations that take place, and they drag this completely out over the 3 days of this wedding ceremony. Completely like, oh man, we need to, there's, and the problem is too, though, like, there might be people out there that like it, but it is cut and edited. I really feel like it's done so poorly. There's stuff in there that's unnecessary. And stuff that they show that's unnecessary. So this is day 1. She's just noticed that Luthen has shown up, right? She ends up talking to her ex-boyfriend on the way in. And Luthen is there. And like, again, just with the world around them. Now, Chandrilla, like, I don't know how alien friendly it is and all of that sort of thing, the wedding ceremony and stuff. Chandrillans are obviously a human species. But there were no like alien guests. Not that I can remember anyway. The one thing missing from Andor, from season 1 rolling into season 2, is aliens and droids. There's just no denying it. And Tony Gilroy's come out and said that he intentionally didn't do it. Not even to really even put him in the background. That was the crazy thing for me. So she finds that Luthen's there. She wants to know why. Oh man, just okay, guys. My brain hurts right now because I've actually got a headache and I'm actually not feeling well. But my brain hurts even more just thinking about this. So I'm almost going to just give you a quick synopsis of a lot of these characters and how they connect in this story, but over the 3-day period. So try and keep up. So who is there on day one for this wedding? We've got Mon Mothma. We've got Mon Mothma's husband. We've got Mon Mothma's daughter, the boy that she's going to marry. Excuse me if I can't remember their names. We've got those boys' parents, which the dad is more important than the mother in the story anyway. We've got Mon Mothma's ex-boyfriend. We've got Mon Mothma's sister, Val, who, if you remember in season 1, has a lesbian relationship with Cinta. I think that's her name. And Cinta's nowhere to be seen. And Mon Mothma and Val also have a conversation, and I think it's in this first episode, day 1. Have you heard from Cinta? And she's like, no, not since. Like, I think it's almost like not since basically the end of season 1. Not since then. So it's been a year since she's had any contact with her. Now, we've got to move forward a fair bit here. What's happened based on the fact that Mon Mothma's ex-boyfriend has helped Mon Mothma in masking this 400,000 credits, has sent him broke, and he's desperate, right? And he knows all the secrets, and Luther knows all of this, right? And he's paying attention. Throughout the 3 days, there's a lot of suspicious activity coming from him where he's saying that, you know, he's wondering where his allegiance lie. He's basically been left behind. Luthen's paying attention to these conversations going on, not hearing them, but paying attention and visually seeing what's actually happening, right? Because he, the ex-boyfriend, now is starting to get all chummy with the dad of the son that Mon Mothma's daughter's marrying. Jesus, that was a mouthful. Which this guy, okay, that's the dad of the son that's being married, that she doesn't like and doesn't want her daughter to marry and doesn't want her daughter to get involved with. And the only reason why she did it was because she needed the 400,000 credits, which the ex-boyfriend helped facilitate, which has sent him broke. The father, Mon's husband, doesn't really know what, he's kind of oblivious to everything that's going on up until probably the last episode when Mon Mothma is absolutely smashed off her face and raving around the room. Which I know I saw people saying, oh, I want a fucking 8-hour endless track of this. And I'm like, oh my God, with how many times it cut to it and that music was just the same fucking music. You really want that? All right, good for you. Get your soundtracks. Mr. Grant Gregory, how you doing, brother? For $2 says Rhino is a hater. Andor is peak Star Wars. Hashtag Andor grape. Thank you. It's peak. It's peak. I'm telling ya. It's peak fucking shit. Yo, Papa G, I see you. See all you new guys here in the chat. Thanks for being here. I'm sorry. I am just sort of speeding through this. I need to get through this. So let me continue with what's actually going on here. So the reason why Luthen is there is because he has bought a very expensive piece from Luthen that is... Has my cursor disappeared? There it is. Can you see my cursor? Anyway, g'day Riff. G'day Blake. He is basically bringing and delivering a present that is one of 12-piece, very expensive, priceless Chandrillan artifact. And so the ex-boyfriend is getting chummy with him. Now, while all of this is going on, there is a little bit of flirting as well between Luthen's assistant and Val. It's very aggressive, but by the end of the conversation that they have, like, it's almost like, why are you here? Why are you here? Like, what's going on? They're all trying to figure out why everyone's there, or why Luthen and Luthen's assistant's there. Like, because they can't be, their connections can't be so, like, because of obviously their connections with the building of rebellion and everything that's going on. Like, there's always like a motive of like, why are you here? Like, what are you here to do? Anyway, because the ex-boyfriend, and this has cost him everything, he's going to Mon Mothma and basically trying to blackmail Mon Mothma. And Mon Mothma is trying to mask all of this throughout all of it, at the same time as trying to deal with her daughter, that we still don't know exactly why her daughter hates her, but clearly does. And her daughter also doesn't understand why the person that she's marrying won't even let her hold his hand. And anybody thinks that he's gay, and because he's always with his buddy. It's kind of that whole thing. But so yeah, the ex-boyfriend's trying to blackmail Mon Mothma. He's sort of seeing what's going on. Over the 3 days, these two are basically having a conversation, and Mon Mothma's like, we'll find a number. We're going to set up a meeting in Coruscant in a week's time. And it's like, why? Like, I understand that this is a wedding ceremony that goes for 3 days and everything, but why couldn't you, like, you're having these quiet conversations where people are being blackmailed. Luthen and Mon Mothma are having, just in broad daylight in front of everybody, having these conversations. Now, there's, granted, not people close to them and they're not talking loudly, but they, you know, the conversations that they're having in public definitely looks sort of suspicious, especially when Mon Mothma is constantly turning her back and looking at a wall where no one can see her so that she can shed a tear or look upset. And then, you know, somebody walks over and interrupts her, and, you know, she puts on the fake smile again and turns around and like, what's going on? Like, it's so like, it's so childish. It's so like, it was ridiculous what we see in this. And there's going to be people out there that go, oh, I find this interesting. And it's like, okay, you find the aspect of what they're doing interesting because, yes, there is some interesting factor to it, right? Like, holy shit, why is Luthen here? And then by the end of it, because they're not able to even come up with a number to keep fucking the ex-boyfriend from spilling his guts in regards to what is actually going on, because he knows everything and he never got looked after. Luthen, what happened to the 80 million credits? Seriously, dude, you have got so much money. You've got so much money. But hang on. I think you spent it all. At least you said that you spent it all. It's all gone. Not able to even give Mon Mothma back the 400,000 to the point she had to sell her for her daughter, which we've talked about a million times. But then, because they can't come up with a number and things are getting even more and more tense, by the end of the wedding, by the end of the 3 days, Luthen and Mon Mothma are basically saying, this isn't going to work. He's going to fucking blow our cover. He's going to fucking blow this whole thing up, this whole operation up. We need to deal with him. And Mon Mothma's like, I don't think I understand what you're saying. And he goes, isn't that nice for you? And like, people are going to, the people that think that this is like adult Star Wars and that kind of shit are the ones that are going to say, oh, see how fucking adult that was? You know what I mean? And it's like, cool, interesting concept. But Mon Mothma does know what that means, because immediately she does turn around, start drinking and start raving and forgetting about the whole thing. But the craziest thing about all of this, I haven't even mentioned, the craziest thing about all of this is that Val said that she had not seen Cinta for an entire year. And I've got to actually go back here I got to actually show you this. We're going to go straight to episode 3 here. And I'm actually glad that I've actually done this because like I'm able to tell these individual characters' stories throughout the 3 episodes because it almost like I need to do that. You know, I think what almost, I don't know if it would have been better or not, but you had so many different storylines that if you actually had have just concentrated on, let's say in 1 episode, 2 episodes, and 3 episodes, these 2 people's stories, right? And then in that exact same time period in episode 2, you've got these 2 people's stories. And then you in the exact same time period, you've got these. I don't know if that would have been better or not. I actually don't know. But where am I going here? I am going here. Perfect. Oh, fucking move the fucking thing. Do I have to do it? Why? Okay, hold on a second. So Val hasn't seen Cinta for a year, her girlfriend. And they've been on this planet, all of them have been on this planet for 3 days celebrating this ceremony, this wedding. Luthen's been there. Fucking Luthen's assistant's been there, and she's left by this stage, obviously, by the 3rd episode, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we sort of break this down. And I hope you guys are tracking this. I hope this is tracking okay. But let me show this. Oh, my stomach. So, what? Hang on a second. I need to do this differently. We need to do it like that. That's better. I think that shares it a little bit better. It does. So, after Luthen has just told Mon Mothma that we need to basically get rid of him, he's a liability and a big one. And he is a big liability. Guess who this is? Cinta, who just honestly, she pops out of fucking nowhere. Through 3 episodes, we have not seen Cinta. And this is the tail end of episode 3, right? This is the last part of the story that we see. And that's it, right? And this is what happens. I don't think we really need audio. So she's getting him onto his transport because he needs to leave and, I don't know, basically betray Mon Mothma and Luthen. Not that she not. And there's Val, right? Who's basically following him. Who sees Cinta and Cinta sees her. And then they have this long, drawn-out look, and he just stays looking forward the whole time. Like, what are you, come on, hurry up. And then she gets on and basically drives away, and Val just sort of walks away. Now, my biggest issue with this really is the fact that Cinta just pops out of nowhere on basically all the guests have been there for 3 days. They're all staying there. It's not like they're I just don't understand. And she's pretending to be a Chandrillan, taxi driver? Look at this. Shippers be loving it. She gets on and they drive away as she looks back at Val again. So, that is basically like the overall story of, Mon Mothma's story with all of those characters in a nutshell. For these 3 episodes, that's their story. It's the wedding basically over those 3 days. So let's continue going from where we were on episode 1 here. Oh, no, we don't want to share it like that. We want to share it like that. Okay. So Val wants to know why he's there. She doesn't know. All she knows is that they've got a present. They're asking if they've heard anything from... this isn't acting to me. I don't know what it is. The way these people are, I just don't know what it is. It's like, we know you're working, secretively. We know you're like, you don't have to act like you are in public. Stop acting so like, obvious. We're doing something that we shouldn't be. Isn't it obvious? Look at my face. Look at the way we're talking so secretively. So anyway, they want to know if they've heard anything from Andor, because Andor got sent on this mission because, once again, Andor doesn't give a fuck about finding his sister anymore. He's just now a part of the this new rebellion, right? And this is where it cuts to where Bix is on this planet. And he's in love with the neighbor who this chick here. Oh, hang on, let's see. Well, you can't really get a good idea, but she works at the store. Her parents don't like him coming around because he's just a toolie. I think that's kind of a tool kind of a name, toolie. So he's just a mechanic. We do know mechanic is a word in Star Wars. You can use mechanic. I think that's fine. But instead, toolie. It's funny where they try and use references to try and make it sound Star Warsy, and they just make it sound stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid. Now, yeah, I did see that this was a Rebel Moon ripoff, I believe. I haven't seen Rebel Moon, but I believe I actually got sent it, and we'll show that in a second. But also, too, there's a conversation going on between these two, and she asks why, the parents don't like her being around. Oops. Why the parents don't like him being around, and it's because he's a toolie. And she says, there's plenty of people or something around here that, live fine. And he's like, yeah, because they've got shares and visas. Now, there's so much in regards to this. They basically send an Imperial inspection team to this planet because this is where they get all their grain from, apparently. The Imperials get their grain from here. So this is just one of the Imperial slave labor planets where these people actually like living there, and they just get along, and they, live their lives, and they must get a fair compensation for what they do, right? But throughout their 3 episodes, all these guys are basically doing is hiding from these Imperials that are doing these searches for illegals, and they're arresting illegals and taking them away because they don't have visas. Now, OG, as I see her in the chat, made a point that there is stuff like that, but it's more called permits or something like that. I think visas, this is the thing. As we've gotten more and more Disney Plus shows, I feel like the immersion of the language used in Star Wars, if you remember, in season 1, we had the stormtrooper say shit. Use the word shit. Now, some people might think that they don't have necessarily a problem with that. I thought it seemed a little out of place. So as we get more and more into this stuff, and obviously Tony Gilroy has made it very clear on how he feels about Star Wars and doesn't give a shit about it. So the Imperials rock up, and that's basically the story over the 3 episodes with that. And the only real context that we get for that is Biggs almost being graped. So Andor being able to pilot from one planet to another, believe it or not, even though he had no idea how to fly this ship, he's figured it out, and he lands at his rendezvous. The rendezvous isn't there, in fact, has been killed by these people in the bushes. Now, again, I want to show you how funny Star Wars is. Oh, we need to turn the volume up for this.
You can stop right there. You got 15 blasters pointed at you right now.
Don't tell him that.
He's surrounded. He needs to know it.
The number? The actual number?
Are you kidding?
You are talking to the enemy.
I knew you.
The bandits are basically arguing amongst themselves, and now that seems to be a theme throughout these, whatever what fuck you want to call them. We'll just call them bandits for the sake of it, because that's basically what they are. Don't really know how they got to the planet. They ended up killing his rendezvous. And this literally just stalls Andor for the entire duration of this story, of this part of the story. So adult, I know. Man, I cringed. Phases. I'm just reading my notes. Yeah, one of my notes said comedy moment when Andor shows up. It just, and then basically after that, it literally cuts to.
I'm not an Imperial pilot.
Hang on, we need to just. So he surrenders to them. Right, they all come out, surround him, and it cuts. It cuts to Krennic with Deidre in the room and all these other Imperial, high-end Imperial people, or at least to some degree. Now this, I didn't really understand this. And I didn't understand it for a couple of reasons. They're obviously, and I'm going to show you some stuff in this. I really hope that some of this can stay up, because this really has to be my review for this. At the end of Andor season 1, weren't they putting the dish into the Death Star? If you remember, they were putting the dish into the Death Star. Now, there's apparently this planet out here that has this new metal that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would expect OG, if you would probably know this the most, calcite. Calcite. Is that ever been a mineral or a metal or anything in Star Wars before? I've never heard of it. Calcite. But there's this planet where the locals basically breed these, not breed, they're indigenous to the planet, but these spiders that weave this strong stuff to be able to make like clothing out of it and all of this kind of stuff. But that's not why they're interested in the planet, because this planet has this liquid calcite, right? Which they need for, I believe, something to do with the Death Star. But I believe that at the end of Andor season 1, we were almost at the end of the Death Star's construction. despite the fact that all those prisoners were able to escape and probably die by drowning. Calkite? No, calkite. It's Kalkite. Calkite. So, this is basically the presentation, and this is top secret. Anyone gets found out, and he throws this thread out at the very beginning of this. If it gets found out that you tell your fucking siblings or whatever, they will all be killed, basically, is his implication. Again, Empire bad. Yes, Empire bad. But I want to show you how this gets presented. So after he's said his piece, he goes to walk out the way and a screen drops down. We're going to skip a little bit here.
Chances are, if you've heard that sound before, you've been to the Great Valley.
I got to pause. You almost get the idea just from what I've just shown you there. I gotta keep it paused for a little bit. I gotta be really fucking careful. Otherwise, the entire stream gets blocked. And then for me to try and edit out pieces of it, it almost becomes an impossibility.
Of Gorman. But it's a sure thing no matter where you are in the galaxy, you've had your eye on something made of Gorman Twill.
Gorman Twill. Because this is the planet Gorman. Either that or it's a guy on Gorman that owns this Gorman. I find it funny too that it's almost close to Garment, except it's Gorman. Gorman Twill.
Elegance and durability. Available in all weights and weaves. The Gorman Mark of Excellence is known everywhere as the standard of luxury and quality. But where does this magic begin?
Oh, if you could see me right now. It's honestly like, you got to remember, I am 20 minutes into watching the first episode of Andor. I've seen a TIE fighter bounce all over the place. Oh, I've had BBY4 as well. I've had a TIE fighter bouncing all over the place. Oh, we had the body positivity diversity hire moment right at the very beginning. Of course, we've got to make sure that we get that in there. TIE fighter bouncing all over the place. We've had a Chandrillan basically introduction to the wedding, which, look, this opening bit, this whole stuff with the Chandrillan stuff actually becomes worse the later on, like the more context you get. Right? You've got, so it's, again, just setting up where everybody is right now. You got Biggs on this planet, the Imperials show up. You've got Andor that's stolen the TIE fighter, lands on his rendezvous planet, and basically gets captured by some people. We don't know yet. And then it breaks into this. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Time to rise and start spinning. Work habits. Spinning from dawn till dusk, never stopping to feed or sleep until the Gorman.
Okay, so again, you get the idea, right? Again, the interest isn't in the spiders. It's not in the material. It's not in any of that. It's in the planet, right? And they are basically trying to come up with a way to, without making it so overt that they want to either relocate these people, get rid of them. But you got to understand, again, the spiders, these people make their money selling this material. Probably gets sold to the Chandrillans. Who fucking cares, really? But the thing is that they're trying to figure out how to kill these people so they can mine the planet. All of that stuff, basically, is the whole idea. And this goes on for ages. I've just skipped forward 30 seconds as well.
Metropolis. Gorman pride is a term you'll often hear.
Still going?
Great.
It ends there. So it's ages. So Gorman is great interest to the Empire, blah, 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 blah. Basically giving you context. Again, you got to understand how this is cut. Like, there, he's just said that. We've just watched, basically it feels like a World War II thing, right? And these Imperials watch this thing about spiders. He says that the Empire isn't interested in the spiders or the material, the trill, whatever the fuck they called it. They're interested in the planet. Cut. So it cuts to Andor being fucking, what do we do with him? We're just stupid fucking... These guys are so... It's so... I can't keep playing shit. I really can't. What do we do with him? I don't know. How do we fly the ship? Maybe you should teach us how to fly the ship. Once he teaches us how to fly the ship, we'll use the ship and we'll get out of here. Oh, but not all of us are going to fit in here. Oh, maybe we'll just use him to fly the ship. But man, it is dumb. It is dumb. And Andor's just relaxed, basically, sort of the whole time.
This guy's a test pilot.
Because he's got a helmet. Because he's got a helmet, he's a test pilot. How do you know he's a test pilot? How do you know that this isn't just a normal TIE fighter and he's just not just a pilot, an Imperial pilot? How do you know he's a test pilot? Like this, like you've read the script. I didn't even think about that the first time I watched it. And what, the pilot clothes, the pilot outfit that he has on doesn't give you the same idea that he's a test pilot or even just a pilot? It's the helmet that gave it away? And not even just the fact that he landed the ship there. Like, this is stupid. This is after he's basically been there trying to sort of justify what...
Shut up.
Who is he? He's an impy pilot.
Just do this, please.
Then do it.
Who
Let's see
are
it. We're
you?
waiting.
Let me know when you're done.
I'm here to meet a friend. Where is he?
Okay, I got you get the idea again, right? He's trying to tell him what he's doing there, and obviously it turns out that they did kill the friend. But as soon as she says that...
This guy's a test pilot.
I doubt anyone.
We cut away again. So he basically explains what they need. I need ideas. I need ways that we can actually get these people out of the planet. So let's do it. They end up going inside the ship. They're asking him, what is this? What is this? What is this? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because he really, truly doesn't know. And then, which is crazy because he did pilot this ship all the way from one planet to another. Somehow, he says that he doesn't know how to fly it. He says that he doesn't know how to fly it. The person that he was rendezvousing with is the person that actually knows how to fly it. So this is from inside the ship. There's a couple of them. That's where they have the argument over, if he pilots it, then we're not all going to fit. Cuts back to these guys having a debate over what to do. Cuts away, back to them. Again, Andor's just tied up, and honestly, I can't remember.
Of the same rebellion.
Your friend was hostile. He was on a mission.
And that's when they figure that out, that they killed the friend that he was Paco or whatever the fuck his name is. Cuts back to more of this. Just more explanation from...
As if the Gore were doing what they always do.
It's honest. I was bored throughout a lot of this. It's them just trying to figure it out. Cuts away, back to Andor. I can't even remember why the... what was this again?
Troy, once we're in the air, he's in control. Oh, you're not getting anywhere. Because you're not letting her concentrate. Wika has to learn how to fly this plane. She's not.
So who's really in charge here?
Like, it is honestly like anybody... And again, all of this is just designed to stall Andor for 3 days. Take him out of the Andor story for 3 days so that we can show a wedding. So Mon Mothma we now know is safe. I tell you what, the shippers are going to love this shit. The shippers are really going to love this shit because there's so many relationships and so many love triangles as well. Like, essentially, they're eliminating one of the love triangles between Mon Mothma, her husband, and the boyfriend guy that's about to be eliminated by Luthen. But they're reintroducing now a new love triangle. The fact that, well, actually, who knows? Because Val and Cinta are a thing, but also Luthen's assistant and Val have this little flirty moment, right? And Cinta is about to go and kill the boyfriend, possibly end up dying herself. Who knows? So they might be actually eliminating the love triangles altogether. But really, who cares? So again, this is just supposed to be a funny thing. He basically causes the mutiny between them. Because those guys are over there, there's people watching him. He's basically saying who's in charge, who's in charge. These guys are now drinking tea. Check this out, by the way.
It's harder than it looks.
They got their little cakes.
Why not have a plague? Or stage some natural disaster?
How to motivate them to leave the place of their own accord.
So again, they're all just standing around having these conversations of trying to figure it all out. And then he goes over to fucking Deidre. This is I was about to say Hux. Fuck, what's his name? Krennic. Goes over to Deidre and he's like, you've been awfully quiet. I brought you in here because I want to know what you think, basically. And she's like, I'm still forming an opinion. And he's like, you've already made one. I want it. Tell me what it is. And she tells him what it is. And her idea, obviously, is the one that he's going to go with, which he does end up going with.
I don't get to Coruscant much these days, but I do keep my ear inspired by the anti-Gorman whispering campaign.
I'm still forming an opinion.
A piece of advice.
I can't keep playing. I really do want to show you because it does give you a little bit more context in regards to what's going on. But basically she says that you need a bad person, a bad local. You need people in the you need a basically like a civil war almost, I think.
You think you're hard to read? You need to get...
Propaganda will only get you so far. You need a radical insurgency you can count on.
Yeah, there you go. A radical insurgency you can count on. To get them away from the spiders, because the spiders is what makes their world go round. So that's her advice, and basically, again, cuts back to Biggs' planet, right? For nothing other than the fact that they haven't heard from Cassian. Cuts to these guys again.
What are we looking at?
I'm looking for a drink.
So she's saying, I've been listening all day. I've heard nothing. I want a drink. So she goes and has a drink. And this is when we get this little moment between Val and her. There's obviously a bit more context behind all of this. Basically, yes, he is his customer. That's the boy that the daughter's marrying. That's the father, Luthen. But Luthen, again, I gotta sort of say that Luthen as a character, like in season 1, he didn't really do much. And like even his little speech at the end didn't really inspire much in me. And I still like, I've heard that Bail Organa is going to be in this, which is a good thing. But I still think that Luthen is basically doing what Bail Organa really should be doing. They've inserted this character, and I think they might have done it pretty well. Watching the NFL draft, I did notice that it was on. It was actually being aired here too. It's actually on in the background, but I can't really see I can only see the top corner of the TV. And he would probably be, again, the most interesting character. Like, the ideas are fine with him as a character, I think. And I think Skarsgård does a pretty, I think that's how you say his last name, does a pretty good job in acting it too. And I probably wouldn't have said that last season. But again, it's still, like, I always got to make these points when I do say something good about something. When it comes to Disney Star Wars, is it is still Disney Star Wars. So to that extent, it is still fucking bad in the sense that I think that this story and this character and everything doesn't really fit in real canon, which he doesn't. The idea is fine, though. Can be done pretty well, but I think it's unnecessary. Bale got recast. Yeah, I did hear that. I don't even really remember that conversation. So this is where, like, Val's trying to find out why Luthen and the assistant and everything are there because they know each other.
What are you doing here? Skeldons are climbed. We bought a gift for the betrothed.
Bought a gift for the betrothed.
2 single women surveying the property. Are we pretending we just met?
No, you've been by the shop.
Just 2 single women surveying the prospects.
As she looks at her, 2 single women surveying the prospects. Ugh. She looks her up and down and walks away. Rejected. Oh man, the shippers, honestly, this is just, it's getting even more and more made for those shippers out there. It really is. Hey, Nerd Cookies is here. How you doing? How are you? It's so good to see you. I just don't think Star Wars should be treated as a pie that has slices for different age groups. I agree with that too. They've done something really strange in regards to the way that they've released. The last thing that was released was such a childish and kiddish show, and then they released something like this that has, definitely does have more adult themes to it. I mean, look at the scene that we just watched. I still think it's unnecessary in Star Wars. I think every Star Wars offering should be entertaining for all ages. Well, see, that's the thing that I've said about George Lucas before, is George Lucas is able to make Star Wars for normies, but still leave lore, canon, and continuity pretty well in check for the hardcore fans. And I think, you know, I will say that there's some stuff that he's made some mistakes in the prequels, but I still love the prequels and everything. But cheers to you, Nerd Cookies. Good to see you. Hang on a second, guys. I just need to get some Panadol. I'm going to take some more painkillers for this fucking headache. Give me 1 sec. I'm not really going anywhere. It's just over here. But yeah, so you see what I'm saying by this, right? Like, it's so meaningless. You know, if I think about, let's say, the I love you, I know scene, right? Or I think about even Leia kissing Luke purely to make Han jealous. Like, there was meaning to that. What's the meaning of this scene? She walks over, she asks, "What are you doing here?" She's like, we've got a client, fucking, we're just delivering a present, right? And she's like, "Do we know each other? And are we pretending that we don't know each other?" And she's like, "No, you've been to the shop." And she's like, "Well, what next?" And she's like, "Well, we're just two single women checking out the prospects." As she looks at her with a flirty look, I'd actually be interested to see.
I'm working.
They walk together.
Are we pretending we just met?
No, you've been by the shop. Just two single.
I gotta hear the commentary after she says this line. I just need to know what's said in regards to her looking her up and down and stuff.
Women surveying the prospects.
They stand facing each other inside one of the circular doorways to the courtyard, Clea displaying a stern look. Vel gives her a once-over before clomping off. Elsewhere.
Val gives her a once-over while clomping off. What a description. Wow. That's kind of funny. So this is where they have this conversation at first. I honestly thought that's a great freeze frame. I honestly thought that he was just wanting to get her back in the sack again at first. That's how that came across. But it's more that he's blackmailing her. Again, this is what I'm talking about with, they're at a party, right? They're facing the wall to have a conversation after they've been sort of facing the audience, and there's been a lot of facial expression.
Not like that, no.
Oh, Mon, there you are.
After he's just threatened to basically blackmail her, she walks over, says, "Mon, there you are," as they're looking at the wall.
Hello.
There's the fake smile. I'll say that I can't remember her name. The actress that plays Mon Mothma does a pretty good job with the script that she has in regards to basically playing this part of her ex-lover is now blackmailing her. The entirety of everything that they've basically been building and building towards could collapse around them based on what he does know. And he could get to the point where he is that desperate that he would use that information to get out of a tough situation. And then the heat that she's getting from Luthen while they're there, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Because Luthen sees
Mon
all of
heads
this.
off, leaving him with Renai.
Oh, that's right. And this is where the reason why that other lady walked over was because her daughter has run off crying or upset. So she's going to go and console her. And basically she says that the husband-to-be won't even let her hold his hand, which is kind of funny. Tell me. And the crazy thing is based on this scene, you would almost think that Mon Mothma and her daughter have a really good and close relationship. But based on what we saw in season 1, and based on what we see later on in these 3 episodes, their relationship is trash. And I just don't understand it. I really don't get it.
So terribly sorry.
Sporting 2 braids of differing lengths, Lita shakes her head and continues crying.
Then where do we cut to? Oh, that's right. We cut to these guys again. And this is where it sort of all blows up. Who's in charge? Who's in charge? What are we doing? Who's in charge? And then they just...
Crap. The guy with the man bun reaches out to him.
The guy with the man bun. Oh my God. I'm going to start watching these with the commentary because that actually kind of makes it funnier. That made it so much funnier. The guy with the man bun. Actually, we need to see the attempted grape scene with the commentary. I'd be interested to see how that folds out.
But Crab shakes him off. Men catch up and tackle the handcuffed prisoner as the two factions retreat toward either ship with blaster bolts flying wild in the...
I don't really understand. I can't even really remember what actually happens.
South Cassian runs, plowing through one of the rebels. A pair of men catch up and tackle the handcuffed.
So I think that they have the argument and they don't know what they're going to do. And then they sort of split into two factions. One runs towards the sort of the demolished ship that was there because that's who he was meeting Cassian there with that ship, which is a busted ship now. I don't know how that happened. And Cassian also works out that they've only been there for 2 days because he was there 3 days ago and he was there with the guy that he was going to meet there 3 days ago. So he works out the math and says, you guys haven't eaten for 3 days, blah, 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 blah. And that's where that first episode ends, with them basically catching up to Andor, grabbing him, and there's two factions. One that's at the TIE fighter and one that's at the... Because they did get the ship to shoot. They couldn't get the ship to take off or anything like that. And I did find it funny, too, that they get in the ship, they sit down in the same pilot seat and everything, that Andor did the same thing in the hangar and everything just turned on. Everything just sort of happened. He didn't really have to push buttons. He sat in the seat folded up, the controls sort of folded out, everything, the entire ship lit up. And now when somebody does that exact same thing, nothing happens. You got to flick switches. You got to turn it on. Apparently, Andor doesn't know how to pilot the thing. And Andor even says, once he does actually make contact with Luthen's assistant, did you even know how to pilot this thing? I don't even know how to pilot this thing. Like, did you know that I wasn't going to be able to pilot it? But he's been piloting it all across the galaxy. He even gets to a point where he actually uses the hyperdrive to, this ship. TIE fighters aren't equipped with hyperdrives. But this one obviously is. And based on the size of the thing, I don't see where they put the hyperdrive even on this fucking prototype. There's a reason why X-Wings are as big as they are in comparison to a TIE fighter, and that's because they have got... I know it's not like a huge level hyperdrive, like it's a smaller level, but they're equipped with hyperdrives. So that was episode 1, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 1. Now, obviously, I'm giving you more context to the other episodes as we're going through it at the same time. We are going to go through each episode the way that we just did that one. The man bun guy is Blake. The husband to be a germaphobe or something. Honestly, with everything that we've had in The Acolyte and everything that we are now seeing so far in this, it would not surprise me in the slightest if he was gay. It just would not surprise me in the slightest. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do this. So this is where I sort of stopped taking notes. And it's so funny that on episode 2... Hang on a second. I think I need to do... Yeah, now it'll let me start moving it. On episode 2, they give you a catch-up. They give you a previously on. But they don't give you a previously on in episode 1. And the previously on that they give you is only context from season 2. And look, there would be some stuff in there that would be still better to give us some context from season 1. But I think the reason why there's really nothing, and they didn't even do that from the first episode, was because that it would actually create so many questions. They want you to forget that Andor was originally looking for his sister. And I'm sure there's other stuff. I just can't think of it. Oh, Andor's friend. Andor's friend that he escaped the prison with. That is in Rogue One, mind you. So we know he's alive. Where's he? That he was with, I believe, in the season finale. No, they went their separate ways, didn't they? That's right. He got a call saying that his mum passed away. And then they went their separate ways after he went back to that planet that he was originally rested on, went into that room that he left all his shit on top of the shower. And it was just lucky that the cleaners just decided not to look above there, or somebody didn't look above there, and all his shit was just still there. They went their separate ways, didn't they? They'll come back together through separate factions of the rebellion, you would think. And again, this is it. Oh no, this is just the catch up, isn't it? That's right. Yeah. So where does this one open up again? Oh, that's right. So they're basically now just crawling out. Andor's been tied up. They're crawling out. There's one from each guy crawling out, and they find someone's boot, someone out there that's been blown up or killed or something or eaten. I can't remember, but there's the boot there. Pulls it out. It's just the leg in it still. This is the thing, is that this stuff here is just so childish and bad and horrible, and it's again just all designed just to keep Andor out of the story. I find it again funny that a show called Andor, and he even says, like in the last episode when he finally makes contact, I've been upside down for 2 days because the person that I was supposed to meet up with has been killed and there were bandits there, and, fucking I haven't been eating and... this is just, there's so much crap that just happens here. It's so funny when they try to move the TIE fighter using bits of wood and rope. They try to lift it and move it. And they do move it. They do move it, but they move it so small. Like the distance that they move, it's ridiculous. So she gets given the job. She thinks that she should still be off on the other campaign, working, trying to find Andor, right? Because that's what she was doing in season 1. But no, she's now been taken away from that so that she can be in charge of the people that are getting rid of these spider people so that they can mine the shit out of their planet. That's now her job. Oh, the teeth. The teeth. I just can't stand her face. I don't know how they do this to her. So he basically just convinces her that, oh man, her face. I don't know if they really use makeup or if she just really is that fucking ugly. Molly. So he convinces her that it's a good idea and take the opportunity. See, Gorman is a gift.
Is a gift.
Take it.
Expression. Dedra takes him.
Oh, let's see what commentators say about her expression.
Then win it.
He resumes walking. The corners of her mouth turn downward in a calculating expression. Dedra takes a moment before hurrying to catch up with him.
She constantly looks like she's got just some shoved so far up her ass. And again, that's supposed to be acting like she's like this stoic, intelligent Imperial. And all she can do is make her fucking face look like a turd. Cuts then to Chandrilla again, where they're doing day 2 of this ceremony.
Now what? We sit all day?
So again, these guys have a fucking intense conversation in the middle of this fucking room that's being set up for this wedding.
I know I said we shouldn't broadcast from here, but I tried to reach out to Bix.
After this is also too, after they've walked in, right? Listen to how they're communicating when they're bringing in the present. Listen.
Good luck getting it out of here.
Big smiles
Now
on their
what?
faces.
We sit all day?
Well, we'll side it, we'll light it. Scully would change his mind.
Okay, so there's people walking around, setting up the tables, you know, bringing through the present, all of that kind of thing. There's still people in the room, and then all of a sudden, their tones and the way that they are looking and the way that they're speaking, there's still people over here. Look.
I never got through.
It's so like, I don't know. Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better? Okay, Luthen gets the present brought in, right? And you make it like really quick, but you make it like seem like he uses that being brought through as a distraction to go back to his ship to then maybe find out what's happening so that they can have a private conversation, not a private conversation in public. I don't know. I just see these things and think that, like, I just wouldn't be having this type of conversation after, especially the way that you were acting towards each other and communicating with each other in front of everybody. Your tone was a lot louder than you are now, because right now you're whispering, looking suspicious as fuck after what everybody else just saw.
I can't
There's
leave.
still people. Like, look.
Get it right.
You're telling me that there's no one like around this side of the table setting it up or anything like that? No, of course there's not. They'd make sure that there wasn't anyone there.
I found one.
Oh, why am I not surprised?
From across the room,
Oh, there is. There's one person there. These guys have been whispering around these people the whole freaking time. And it's all been about, like, where is Andor? Mon Mothma walks in with her husband. Don't even remember the conversation that they
straightening
have.
place settings.
Oh,
You'll want
he brings up the boyfriend. He brings up the boyfriend.
Is it really a shandy, Mal?
Yeah, one of them. It's a bit gross, don't you think? It's probably worth more than the house.
You'll want to put that in your speech.
She steals a sip of...
Oh, man, I can't just play it and find it. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, look at that. You should tell your boyfriend to back off the nog.
Nog?
He's my boyfriend.
Oh, what have you done? Thrown him over?
I don't know who we're talking about.
Take home, or is he not your lover?
Is he not your lover? This is her husband. On day 2 of the ceremony of their daughter's wedding. The shippers. Like, this is what this crap is made for. Honestly, this isn't Star Wars. This is so fun. People, this is world building. We're seeing Chandrillan culture before our very eyes, how they do their wedding.
That would explain a great deal.
Like what?
Try not to hit too much. First night punch. There's so much foreshadowing of fucking Mon Mothma getting smashed in this. There's even a conversation just before the actual ceremony on day 3, next episode, where Mon Mothma says, on this day for me, my mother was drunk. And I'm going to say something to you that I wish that my mother had have said to me. And this is the reason why she was so drunk, because she didn't want me to marry in this way or whatever. It's like it's so oppressive to the women of Chandrilla that they have to go through with this or something, right? And then Mon Mothma spills her guts out to her daughter and says, you don't need to do this if you don't want to do this. And Mon Mothma's daughter says, I wish you were drunk. Basically, because of what she just said, I wish you were drunk. Mon Mothma then turns away. She sort of tears up. She hides it from everyone again, right? And then walks back over and is like, no, I need to walk out before you, and wipes a tear. Even the commentary said, wipes a tear from her face before walking out. It's so ridiculous. And then she does get absolutely smashed. So after that, it cuts to the Imperials. So this guy's the shop owner. This is the father of the daughter that likes the boy that's with them. And he's basically feeding them information. He's like because he owns the store within this sector of this planet, this farming planet, he seems to have all the information. He seems to have all the goss. So the Imperials are coming in. They're doing sweeps. They're doing searches. Anybody that runs gets arrested because they're obviously illegals. They don't have visas, and they certainly don't have shares. So that's all we really get from that. And then it cuts to Andor drinking water out of a dish. And I think he's basically trying to manipulate these guys a little bit.
Not hungry enough.
Look, 6 dry, 8.
And they're talking about the food and the rations that they've got, and because it's been raining all night. These guys crack open this thing, and apparently it smells disgusting.
I don't know.
Kind of looks disgusting. Cyril is still working in this place, but he's now running the joint. He's now running the place that he hated to work for. It then cuts to, like, this is like, seriously, you get like a minute of context somewhere, and then it cuts, or a couple of minutes, and then it cuts. Look, this is where the farming thing, and then it'll cut. No, that's actually kind of long because this is the initial creepy dude, and then it cuts to Chandrilla, and then walking up the hill, cuts to Andor, cuts to Cyril now at home, getting home from work, and Deidre being there, and back to Chandrilla, and now the wedding, and more blackmailing. Like, this is back to Biggs, back to the store where Luthen's... Oh, man. So anyway, let's just keep going. So they're talking about, what happens if the Imperials come out here, and then all of a sudden the Imperials do come out here. They're at the store. They want to feed, all of this kind of thing. And while they're there, the creepy dude, this is the creepy dude that does try and grape her in episode 3, sees Biggs and walks over and just starts talking to her, and he's being real creepy and really weird and everything. And then luckily enough, fucking the big dude that was in the store actually shows up. There he is.
We move around.
Right. And then he just sort of disappears, goes back to the store, and then it goes back to Chandrilla. And this is the hike of the wedding, or the hike of the betrothed. I can't remember what they fucking call it.
That's no, is it?
I've always wanted to.
I see.
Mother wouldn't allow it.
Mother, she's basically nattering to her new husband about her mother behind her back, about something that we have no context for.
It'll be different now.
It's just, they're doing this, the wedding hike is what it's called. There you go. It's just a wedding hike. Takes all day. They get to the top. Val and that are talking about what they did on Mon's wedding day and blah, 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 blah. Basically no freaking point to the scene, really. There is one particular scene where there is truly no point to the scene, and we are getting to it. It is in this. But this is how, again, choppy the editing is. And this is where I was wondering whether or not they were going to actually do the year thing well. The year to year thing well. They're trying to give you exactly in this moment where everybody actually is, and they're trying to do it with so many different threads, so many different storylines that they need to actually tell. So they're trying to figure out what to do. He's saying you got to set up a perimeter or whatever. Oh, and this is where a guy creeps out from here, and he basically says they're moving the gun to face us of the TIE fighter because they know how to shoot it. They just don't know how to fly it. I know it sounds fucking stupid, right? Like all of it sounds stupid. They know how to shoot it, but they can't fly it, and they're trying to move it by hand.
At the front, trying to put us down the barrel.
No, but can they do that?
They're trying.
Shouldering one of the solar arrays, Raud grits his teeth with effort. A comrade named Musk uses a tree branch for leverage.
Uses a tree branch for leverage. And they've got this measuring thing.
Do you realise how long this would take?
50 centimeters.
And mind you, they are what? Like, oh man, 20 to 30 meters away from each other. I don't know if you got to put that in yards if you have to. I don't know. But literally, like, at the most, 30 meters away from each other. They're moving at 50 centimeters an hour. I don't know how long they've been trying to do this to be able to work out the math. They're moving at 50 centimeters an hour. And again, especially when they're fucking literally, like they've got fog between them right now, as you can see by, fuck.
And fire into the fog.
There you go. That's what they're firing into. But literally, that fog disappears. They are right there, like right there. And you'll see that when the fog does disappear. It then cuts to Deidre and fucking, what's his name, getting home from work. Again, almost a completely pointless scene. They're talking about how they've got to catch up with the his mother again. And he's like, oh, we can always cancel again. Cuts to Mon Mothma, again, getting blackmailed again.
The foundation is up and running. Your financial blemishes have been smoothed over without anyone being the wiser. Davos Skulden obviously.
So it's also, this is also designed to give the audience, again, just understanding that what they basically have done since the end of season 1 is smooth over everything that they needed to cover Mon Mothma's ass. Over 400,000 credits. I just want to remind everyone again that Luthen stole 80 million credits in season 1. So this is where the true sort of blackmailing happens.
The risk I've taken on.
Standing in profile to him, Mon stares off across the party, frozen with apprehension.
So again, like, think about this. This is a room full of fucking people. If you were just looking and scanning around this room, looking at people, and you saw this image, what's your immediate thought?
Please say something.
I'm shocked.
And I'm sorry, and it's terrible. And Luthen, mind you, is seeing all of this conversation go on, and then they part their ways, and
Around a grill fire with the general store.
Luthen's like, you know, goes over to go and try and talk to, what's her face? These guys are now, what are they doing? Oh, they're just sitting around a campfire talking about where the Imperials are moving to and which way they're searching. Now, this is the bit that is completely unnecessary, right? So she is now back on Coruscant and back in the store, and the last conversation that she basically had with Luthen was basically her saying that she can't do shit from where she is because comms get tracked and all of this kind of thing. She needs her equipment. She needs to be back in the store, right? She needs to go back to Coruscant. That's what she tells Luthen. And by the end of that conversation, we as the audience understand that Luthen needs to stay and she is going to go back to the store and listen in for any information, right? Now, they then cut to her being on Coruscant for the first time, walking into the store like she's just arrived, right? Now, I know there's people out there that want to say that they don't show jangling keys. I beg to differ. I also find it funny that she walks into the store and just sort of waits for everything to turn on before continue walking. Like, nobody does this.
The doors revolve open for her, and she steps in. While they reseal again behind her, accent lighting comes on throughout the gallery.
Look, she's still standing there, 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 and then walks. Like, nobody does that. I'm sorry. Even when you flick the switch, even if it's got like fluoros and the lights need a time to warm up and they're flickering, you're in motion. You're not just standing there. It's so posed. And again, like, start fucking walking. The initial lights turned on. The initial fucking light.
She steps in. Wow.
Okay, so the first lights that turn on are the display lights around all the artifacts, right? And that provides enough light to start walking.
They reseal again.
But she's got to wait for the ceiling lights to actually turn on and all of them to turn on before she does start moving.
Behind her, accent lighting.
Accent lighting turns on. Start walking. Just start walking right now. Right now.
Comes on throughout the gallery, followed.
We're still waiting.
By banks of recessed overheads.
Oh.
She waits for it all to complete before moving.
And they even commentate that she waits for it to all complete. Now, people want to say that there's no jangling keys. I'm going to say there is minimal jangling keys, but that's not to say that there's none.
Forth through the various display columns.
And the main jangling keys in season 1 was what's in the store.
Columns of exotic.
This shot. Of course, you've got Padme's headdress. And you've got Plo Koon's mask. We don't know if it's Plo Koon's particular mask or whether or not we know that it's just one of his species kinds of masks. But there you go.
Antiquities. From the base of one containing a Naboo crest headdress and a Keldor breathing mask.
There you go. The commentary tells you all about it. So she walks in. Now, being that we're seeing this, you would think, okay, her arriving there, maybe somebody's there. Maybe something interesting is going to happen. Maybe she arrives there and she turns on her equipment and Andor starts talking or something. Not that he would, because we know that he's fucking captured, we, the audience. And thanks for the raid, Purist. Good to see you. So she opens everything up. She walks around the back. She
restoration console.
Unlocks the console that it gives her access to all the communication stuff. She plugs it all in and she starts playing with it, and then it cuts. Nothing happens. It is completely unnecessary scene because the next time we see her, she literally walks into that room again because it's now beeping at her, and she opens up that console. We as the audience, based on the conversation that she had with Luthen, understand that she was going back to Coruscant so that she could be there for that particular reason. We only need to see it when it actually happens. We don't need to see her arriving unless actually something is happening. We know that she's now there. Well, the interesting thing is, how long does it take to get from Chandrila to Coruscant? There is that fact too, because you got to remember, this is over 3 days. So she literally left I don't know. Let me see if I can find out. How the fuck do you spell Chandrila? Coruscant to I think I spelt it right. 5 hours. 5 hours to get from there to there. And it didn't seem like it did take that long. Like, let's see. Let me go back. They're talking there. This is when they say it. So they're bringing the present in. It's like roughly the morning. Okay, maybe she could make it there in... That's the first time we see her, right? Yep, the blackmailing's happening. And then it cuts to her arriving. Okay, yep, that could happen. That could happen. But again, that scene is unnecessary because nothing happens other than her arriving in the store. That's it. This is when obviously they confront and talk about it, and they're talking about, was there a number? You know, no, there wasn't a number, but we'll find a number. I don't understand. They're having these conversations in front of everybody. She's being blackmailed, everything. Mon, you're now got Luthen in front of you that does have apparently 80 million credits, or has, you know, is willing to help you out finding this number. Wasn't willing to help you out with the 400,000 credits. Made you sell your daughter, mind you, but now wants to know what the number is. You just sold a massively expensive piece as well, which should help your cause. And Mon Mothma can't go like to their boyfriend, like, what do you want? How much? Why do we need to set up a meeting in Coruscant in a week's time to settle on a number or settle on what you want from us for what you did for us? You're already having these private conversations in broad daylight. So I don't understand this. Again, this is dragging out essentially the inevitable. Because throughout these 3 days, it just seems that Mon Mothma's being blackmailed. She's got out of her little pickle, right? Mon Mothma's being blackmailed. Fucking Luthen's all over her going, we need to deal with this right now because this is getting scary. Like, he could just fucking uncover everything and then we're fucked. Excuse me a second. I'm just responding to a mate of mine. Where was I? Yeah, so look, there's just people want to say that this is really well written. I've got to disagree. And to be honest with you, they can't not do damage to legacy characters. Mon Mothma is a legacy character. I'd argue the fact that I know that Bail Organa is coming. I get it, and it will be interesting to see how they portray him, because the way that they portrayed him in Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was a fucking idiot. He was a fucking moron, right? But they're doing damage to Mon Mothma here. They really are. And it's so, to me, it's not much of a Star Wars story. I understand that there's like small little manipulations going on and it's all secretive. And this is the growth of the rebellion, or the birth of the rebellion, so to speak, which is ridiculous to me. Fucking ridiculous. And they're just doing all of this shit out in the open as well. So then after they say that they're going to find a number, it cuts, I believe. Oh, that's right. He has his speech, the father. Mothma's, smiling. Luthen's smiling. I think his speech is relevant to the situation that they're in, too. Like, that thing. It's poetry. You know what I'm saying? So Andor's still tied up. These guys are still all fucking retarded. You know, the
How's he know that? They've been sneaking.
Out of here! You can't live on these melons!
The team at the tie swap looks.
How's he know that?
yeah, so it's fucking stupid. And it's so funny that like him yelling across like that, they'd be able to see that fire. They would be able to see that fire. There's the TIE fighter. They're closer than that. They are way closer than that. This is in the catch-up.
Guns blast into the tree line.
You should have heard from him by now.
Concentrate.
Yeah, there you go.
There's the tie. He is tied up at that other ship. He's tied up at that other ship.
So who's really in charge here?
3 men guarding him.
See, they're standing right there guarding him at the other ship that they're in. They would be able to see that fire. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They should be able to see the other ship.
And into the night fog.
Are you backing down? I'm dropping.
There they are. That's how far apart they are, guys. And look how much they would have had to have turned the TIE fighter to line up that gun with that fucking whatever they're in. Again, this is all just designed to delay fucking him. Oh, what's this? It cuts. Look at this, guys. It goes from them where fucking Cassian is. Edit.
Barty glances back at his group.
A challenge. You guys are not going to believe what the challenge is. You're not going to believe it. It's Star Wars rock, paper, scissors. It's Star Wars rock, paper, scissors. And it's so fucking ridiculous. They make faces and everything. Get ready for that. It cuts back to where Biggs is.
In a row, Biggs steps out alone from the mobile house.
I can't remember what this scene is actually all about.
Her shoulders hanging heavy. Lowering her eyes again, she knits her brow in a fretful expression. Planet.
Oh, that's right. All that scene is, there's no dialogue in that scene whatsoever. It is Biggs walking out, you know, looking up at the stars like, where's Cassian? Like, oh, that's what she's obviously thinking. And then it just cuts back to where Cassian is. Again, what? Nothing. That brings nothing to the table. So they all meet up out the front. They put their blasters down, right? And they playing a game, something rules. I can't remember exactly what they call it. They get a second in charge, right? They get to pick a second. And here we go. Are you ready for Star Wars rock, paper, scissors?
And the 2 leaders join in.
1, 2, 3.
All 4 present hand signals.
1, 2, 3.
Gertis and Barty both make the same claw-like gesture.
2, 3.
Yeah!
This is how they're deciding who's going to be the leader of their little rebellion gang thing. I'm not joking. Cassian then somehow on the mate's ship that he was supposed to be meeting up with knows exactly the drawer where the blaster is kept. is able
Cassian
to
kicks open the compartment,
open
grabs
that,
a blaster,
free himself, and kill the.
and shoots through his tether.
Oh, no, it doesn't kill him yet. But these guys are still playing,
resulting in another tie.
rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3. Cassian gags.
I can't with this. I can't with this. They're rock, paper, scissoring. That's funny. They're rock, paper, scissoring to see who's going to be the boss. I think that means that none of them should be the boss. I need to close this door. It's starting to rain outside. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec. I'm still here. But yeah, fucking rock, paper, scissors. Oh, it's actually not that bad. Usually when it rains and I've got this door open, because of the angle or the wind, the way the wind usually blows, it usually comes in, but it hasn't. So I might just leave it because it's nice. Nice little breeze. I got to top up my drink as well. Let's see. So Andor does that. This is where he sort of sneaks out while they're still playing rock, paper, scissors. And he gets into the ship and he escapes. They're all like, come back. Oh, he left off.
Headlights shining through the mist.
That's the end of those guys. Like, literally, that is the end of those fucking retards. And you're almost saying, thank God, if you know, that fucking, you kind of wish that they were never there. Cassian flies away. That's the end of episode 2. We'll go click straight into that next episode. We'll just pause. So the thing that I'll say about this that does make it actually feel a little bit different is the fact that they haven't really sort of jangled the keys all that much. Like I said, yeah, we did see that Naboo headdress, and we did see the mask, Plo Koon's kind of mask. Plo Koon, did I just say? Plo Koon mask. But other than that, like, there hasn't really been sort of cameos or anything like that, but it is written really, really badly. It's written badly. I think that some of the performances are really bad. I can't stand Deidre. I just can't stand her. Yeah, I know you can't stand her either. Oh, is that right? Is that right? All right. Fuck. It's only fucking 2:30. All right. I'm going to give this. Oh, I can't. No. All right. Hang on a sec, guys. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Please don't go anywhere. We've got a good 42 people here watching. Let me give you a little clip or something that I can... Actually, let me play this for you. Let me stop sharing this. This is a little bit of a flashback, but this is, I just saw this. Lawmaster Chris posted this on Twitter. It's a 2-minute clip of when they were doing Stargrift. So I may as well play this while I'm gone. Here we go.
One, I wouldn't bring in anything from fucking Legends once you threw it all away. Make your own shit. Don't try to bastardize stuff and make people, like, literally just because a couple of people heard, like, he said Mount Tantus, oh my God. And it's a complete bastardization of everything.
Literally me.
I know that's you. Like, I don't understand that.
That's me, dude.
Why would you want that, though?
Because we don't have anything else.
What if they brought in some random redheaded chick, right, who's a little bit sassy in season 4 of The Mandalorian, and she was like, my name's Mara Jade. Would you lose your mind?
Yeah, it'd be fucking dope.
Well, why? Because in this universe where Luke Skywalker's not going to get married to her, while Luke Skywalker's already a fucking failure piece of shit and everything that we've seen happen, why would you be excited for them to bring in a character who was actually good in one iteration of canon just for a little fucking pop like a recognition before they destroy this person's character further. That's the stuff that doesn't make any sense to me.
Brian, say you're in the desert, you got no food, no water.
I would die. I would rather die.
No,
I'm
Papa comes along and says, "Hey, Ryan, zip. Let me give you a little bit of liquid." You're gonna be like, you're gonna tell me that you're just not. You're gonna be like, no, oh.
Why did you just compare watching Disney Star Wars to being peed on in a
We're
positive light?
No, you're not. How do you not get that? We're being starved.
I would rather die with a little bit of dignity than let Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni piss down my fucking throat to keep me alive.
I think
That's what I would
John. I
rather
think
have.
John knows exactly what he's doing. I just think that fucking Kathleen or someone came in there and just destroyed everything because it was 3 was just so fucked from what 1 and 2 were. So I really have a hard time believing that freaking Jon Favreau wrote that piece of shit that was the season 3.
Let me just pretend we're a week ago.
Okay.
And we were talking about Lizzo. And you were like, man, whoever can't believe they did that.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
There you go. What else do I have? I had Tony Gilroy talking about how he doesn't like Star Wars. I had Ahmed Best blaming the fans all of a sudden out of nowhere. These are just some of the things. We've got some shills of the week, which we'll do for sure. And we had the Predator trailer. But we'll just keep going on the Andor stuff. Let me bring that back up. Episode 3. Okay. That looks better. Episode 3 gives you a previously on as well. Oh, fuck this shit. It's almost like I got to play for a second for it to actually catch up to where my fucking cursor will go. So it just gives you a previously on, which we didn't get again for episode 1. Andor is sitting in space now with the ship. I think he's in space. Yeah, he is in space. And he is basically now sending a communication out to find out what's going on, or trying to find communications, I think.
He looks around the cockpit. Using a tool, he loosens a piece of triangular paneling from a wall, pries it off.
I can't remember what he does here. Shifts
From his
not
fractal
working.
radio, he uncovers the connection points at
The radio. So somehow in all the bumping and everything, he's the radio went out. Something. And then it cuts away from him back to here, and they're all sitting around having dinner or whatever, or having lunch. And the shop worker guy comes up and he goes, "Your sector's next for the search." And he's like, "We gave you a shift out in Sector 8, a transfer to Sector 8." And he's like, "Is it legit?" And he's like, "I had to move the date." And it's like he's worried about that because they'll check. And, why did you move out of the sector that we're about to search just as you're moving sectors, but you changed the date for it and all of this kind of shit? So that's basically what goes on in that conversation. And he's like, "If you get out of here now, then good." And this is where we get the Mon Mothma saying, like, when I was here, I was drunk and I was so angry.
I don't think I ever forgave. This room. Right here. Just like this.
Yeah, anyway. And basically she gets shut down by her daughter and says, "I wish you were drunk." And then this is like,
I wish you were drunk.
Taken aback slightly, Mon puts on a smile to conceal her wounded reaction.
she turns around, she turns away, she puts her headdress on
Front of her
like she's
slender
all
neck from her
upset.
pin.
And then she goes to walk out and she's like, "No, I've got to go first." And she stands in front of her and wipes this tear off her face.
In front of her daughter, and wipes a hidden tear from her eye.
So her daughter's just a piece of shit. Like, and nobody really knows why that is. Even from season 1, we don't know why. We also don't know why Cassian doesn't give a fuck about looking for his sister anymore. But so they walk out. They basically do this ceremony.
Viewers on
You know,
three
they
place
they
settings
walk
that are
around. They walk around and they basically do the ceremony. And the father gives the boy the knife, and he goes, "You can do with this what you will." And he walks over
second
to the
for
daughter.
2 braids. She turns her head
Grabs one of
slightly
the
and looks
braids,
toward her mother.
just
Mon
cuts the
watches
braid.
intently as Stecken lops off the braid with the knife. In her apartment on Coruscant,
So then it just cuts to Cyril and Deidre setting up their apartment to host Cyril's mother. And I saw somebody on Twitter, I think I've got it for Seal of the Week. Let me just see, because you can stay on that screen while I check my other shit. Yeah, so there's a Seal of the Week who's got a reaction to this scene this week. Yeah, so they basically
outside its picture windows. He finally dices an ingredient on a cutting board. Later, in her bedroom, Dedra stands before a bank.
Like this is, I know that we're running the commentary here as well, but like even without the commentary, it's like this is all this scene is. It's literally them preparing, you know, for how they're going to mask how evil these people really are in front of Cyril's mother. And Cyril sees a knife that's been put
one
down.
Of the skewers on its compartmentalized plate. Later, he stands before the bank of mirrors, putting the finishing touches on his dark Nehru-style.
So he's like OCD, which I think we already kind of knew. So yeah, they get ready. Mum arrives. She's all arrogant and like she's just basically being a piece of shit to Cyril the whole time. Cuts away to them finally making contact. So this is what I'm saying. Instead of in that previous episode, we had to see her arrive at the store for no reason whatsoever, but we could have had just this happen and we knew that she was heading back to Coruscant, right? Then there wouldn't be even so much of a thing in regards to how long did it take her. Not that there is anyone talking about, because all anyone wants to talk about is the rape. So they have a conversation. He's like asking about Biggs and stuff like that. And he's going off at them about like the fact that the guy that he was supposed to meet up with has been killed. I don't know how to pilot this ship. He basically says that to her. I don't know how to pilot this ship. And did you know that I wasn't going to be able to pilot this ship before you sent me on this mission? And then as soon as he gets off the phone call to her, he puts the ship into hyperdrive and flies straight to the planet. That now, yes, maybe he's learned some stuff because he has been obviously piloting the ship, right? But he still says that he doesn't know how to fly this ship to her in this moment.
You won't be hearing from him. It's just me. I'm calling you from the freighter.
So obviously they're still having to talk in code like it's a freighter, like I'm calling you from the freighter.
Let's start over. What's your location?
This is not the ship I was trained to fly. Did you know that?
So, yeah, did you know that? I was not trained to fly this ship. So he was trained for this mission somewhere along the lines. You know, a scroll would have been good. You know, Cassian Andor has been training for the last 2 months to be able to steal an Imperial test ship, an Imperial prototype TIE fighter that they've been inventing that has all new weapons, blah, 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 blah. None of that. We get none of that context at the beginning of season 2. And it jumps a year from season 1.
Did anyone know that?
So he's really angry about that. And she's like, she doesn't really show too much. The acting, again, I think is kind of poor.
I can't fly the ship. The drop is compromised.
I can't fly the ship. There. He says it right there. And he says, I need to call home. And she's like, don't call home. What does that mean? And she's basically like, And that she basically at the end of the day tells him that there's Imperials there. And she's like, stay on the line. And he's like, no.
I don't.
Ship. Cassian slides his left hand into.
Now, remember what he just said. I can't fly the ship. Now, this is the thing. Maybe the planet that they left from where the rendezvous was a close planet to where they stole the ship from. And it seems that way based on the fact that all of this has happened within 3 days, right? But he stole the ship, he landed on that planet, he then flew off from that planet, and he's in space and he's making this radio call. Now, it could make sense that, yes, he doesn't know how to fly the ship, and he fluked it, and he got it to the rendezvous point, and now he's out in space, and he's just not knowing what to do because he doesn't know how to fly the ship, and he doesn't know what to do, right? And then he finds out that the planet that Biggs is on, and the reason why he can't call home is because there are Imperials there, and they've set up a thing where no transmissions are going in and out, right? And this is his first reaction, to cut off the transmission with Luthen's assistant and do this.
To its control cuff. He activates a panel on the right arm.
Oh.
He activates a panel
I hate that. I wish I could just skip it a little bit.
on the right arm, then throws the lever all the way forward and jumps to light speed. Now Edie stirs some food on his.
And jumps to light speed. I thought he couldn't fly the fucking ship. And I don't know where on this ship even that size TIE fighter would have a hyperdrive on it. But okay. All right. He just said that he doesn't know how to fly the ship. I can't fly the ship. I wasn't trained to fly this ship. Every part of that conversation, you would think that he doesn't know how to fucking fly the ship. We get more of arrogant mother-in-law. Cyril walks away after all of this and basically just flops down on the bed, but we don't even see that. He basically gets up, walks away. Oh no, he didn't there. He's it's just more shit, and he's just now cooking some food, making some food. These guys walk in. It's literally the tiniest scene. They get announced. Now, think about this, right? If we just go back here, there's this scene here, right? Which starts with Mon Mothma walking into the room that her daughter's in, getting completely shattered and shut down by her own daughter, her walking out. We see the ceremony and everything, and then it cuts to Cyril and Deidre. It cuts to Luthen and Luthen's assistant and what's his name talking and him jumping into hyperspace. Cuts back to Cyril and the dinner with the mother. And then this scene here. Oh, sorry. It even cut. Oh, no, that's not right. We're all the way back there. So this scene is tiny. It would be better to have just had this scene on the tail end of this scene than putting this tiny little scene in here. Let's see. These are 10-second little jumps. And this is just them being announced and walking in, right? That's 20 seconds.
Arm in arm, they make a processional walk through their.
I reckon I could skip it. It'll be pretty much the next scene. Oh, 10 seconds. Oh, don't do this now. Like, my point is it's just the way that they've chopped this up and they've pretty much shown this. It's all over the fucking place. It really fucking is. So anyway, it's so chopped up and all over the place to me. Like it's obviously an indication of how they're trying to fit a tiny 3-day story and a year of sort of information into these 3 days. And it almost seems like the way that a lot of these characters are talking to each other is like they haven't seen each other since a year ago. Whereas a lot's actually happened, you would think, between all of these characters, especially between like the boyfriend and Mon Mothma. And then it cuts back to Biggs. And like they're basically talking about how they stay there. They like, this is the thing. Look how choppy it is. I literally didn't even fucking click that far. And we've gone from Biggs and that saying we need to get out of here now. We need to move to that Sector 8 right now or else we're going to get bogged down. And then it cuts to Cyril having the conversation. This is where Cyril gets up and walks away. And Deidre basically just says, this is what's going to happen. Right? Cyril is like, it's so funny to see this shot. And like if the mother was to just get up and walk like a couple of steps, like she'd see him on the bed. Like look how this room is set up. And he sort of walks out and there's the kitchen or the dining room. Anyway. So, and they're talking all positively now because Deidre makes a deal with the mother-in-law. And basically, it's almost like these two women are just controlling Cyril's life because he can't look after himself. He's a mummy's boy, and now Deidre's just taken over as well. And that's where like this sort of scene ends.
Taking a sip. Back on Chandrilla.
And we go back to Chandrilla where they get presented with their present. He's trying to get some information, I think, out of the father that bought that thing. He walks, but it's so funny. He walks past Luthen and bumps into him.
Bounced around until she passed away, and then Mon stepped in.
Oh, sorry.
There.
That's good. Excuse me.
Which is like, Luthen's already like suspicious of him and everything, and he bumps into him, goes and speaks with Mon Mothma again and says, I need to leave. And like, basically, apparently, like in this moment, they work out that the father of the, and he's a dodgy dude, the father of the son and the boyfriend are getting all chummy now all of a sudden. And Mon Mothma doesn't like that.
Speak up. Stand up. Make your point. Every time I'm with him, I'm reminded how timid I've become.
Every time you're with him? Is that a regular occurrence?
So, like, she's now... And then he says, I hope so, as you can see there in the subtitles. So now she's getting even more suspicious, and this is when all shit goes to shit. So he walks away to leave. He's obviously seen, Luthen's obviously seen everything that goes on. This is where they do their dance. Mon Mothma's masking all her feelings, and it cuts away. They're saying that they need to leave, but then the imps finally get there just as... Oh, and he's gone to say goodbye to his girlfriend. Right? And he's parked his bike in front of the store as well. And the Imperials show up and they're like, shit, because that's his bike there. And he just starts running to get back to his house. It then cuts to Mon Mothma and Luthen. And this is, look, I'd say that this is like a pretty cool thing, but Mon Mothma obviously does know what he's saying, but he's sort of basically saying in code that he needs to be eliminated. He's too much of a risk. And even if we do pay him off, he is still too much of a risk now. And Mon Mothma's like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, oh, how nice for you. And in the grand scheme of things, with the rebellion and everything, cool line. Cool little moment. It's like, the idea of, having to do some of these bad things, eliminating old allies and stuff like this because they are a security risk. Decent concept. Decent concept. I have a bigger problem in the fact that Bale's not there and not doing what Luthen's basically should be, should be that person. And he's obviously been running this stuff for a year. He stole 80 million credits. We don't know where that 80 million credits has gone. He's obviously, making money out of the shit that he's selling. I mean, he just sold back to a Chandrillan fucking really rich cunt. Just sold back an artifact, very expensive. They talked about how expensive it was and how It basically, this thing costs more than their entire house or something like that. And then, like, after he says that, Mon's like,
pitiless eyes.
And this is when the raving starts.
She stiffly returns to the party as
the music droid thing comes out, and then they just start dancing, start partying. Mon Mothma starts drinking. Cuts back to Big's planet. And this is the scene where she basically gets close to S-Aid.
behind him, a stormtrooper.
And he's trying to creep up on the store to see where the boy is, who's running back to the home because he jumped on his speeder and went there. And the Imperials catch him. And just as they catch him, it cuts back to Mon Mothma having a couple more shots. And then it cuts back to the rapist. And this is just the intense moment of that. And then it cuts to Andor arriving at the planet. He's basically been uncovered as an illegal. So this is getting even more intense, this bit.
Backing him off at the wedding reception.
And then it goes back to the reception and Mon Mothma's raving, and then it cuts back to her. Like, this is, you got to remember, these are 10-second increments, right? So he tries to, and then he just sort of smacks him with something, and then it cuts to Mon Mothma raving. 10 seconds later, it cuts back to her again. And this stuff, and then it cut. I don't know. Was that a cut?
Shows him stalking over to her.
Oh no, yeah. So that's still the same thing, the same scene. I think it shows a little bit more of this. He hears screaming from inside. He walks out. He's dead. She yells, "He tried to rape me." Then he arrives and he starts shooting at the last Imperial that's at the door. And we talked about this earlier in regards to the fact that Cinta has been basically there the whole time. I don't understand this. Again, Cinta, they talked about her, and Val hasn't seen her for a year, and blah 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 blah, and she's just there to execute Order 66 on the security risk. Is she going to die in this moment? Does anyone fucking care? This is the first and last part of the entire fucking part of this year that we see anything to do with Cinta. They've told everybody else. They have their stare down. Where's this? Oh, that's right. So these are the ones that were at the store that are now going down to where the guy was trying to get to Biggs. And the TIE fighter blows that up. He then gets on his bike, like escapes from them, gets on his bike. And Andor tries to use the TIE fighter to defend him. I'm going to get fucked over on this stream, I swear. Andor then finally takes them out, lands the ship, runs over. He's dead. He died. Biggs shows up and starts yelling for Andor, and she's like, "Where is Rocco?" or whatever the fuck his name is. That's not his name. I know that's not his name, but we'll just call him that. And he's like, he just shakes his head. He's dead. I think that's this bit.
He gravely shakes his head.
There you go. And then they escape. And then, what's her name's husband? Mon Mothma's husband sees her partying like crazy.
The mob of revelers.
And he's like shocked by what he's seeing because she's just all over the place. Val's like, I don't know what Val is fucking doing or thinking. She's been hit on by Luthen's assistant. This is in the last 3 days. She's been there pretty much doing nothing, just there for the wedding, obviously. She sees her girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, right at the end that's basically being given an order to take this guy out, and she would automatically assume that there's some connection there. So she's just sitting there. It cuts to him being driven away. Andor leaving that planet with Biggs and the boy. Back to Mon Mothma raving, and the end of the scene. The end of the episode. So if we're talking about this as an isolated 3-day story, and then it jumps a year. We don't know how the guy gets taken out. We don't know how this guy gets taken out. He just does, all off screen. So he gets eliminated off screen, because I swear they're not going to keep him alive for another year. There's no way. And based on what this scene implies, he's dead. He's dead. So they eliminate him off screen, and they obviously do the cover up for it all off screen. They might reference it, but who cares if they do or don't, right? No, none of the shells will fucking care. Andor, still in the TIE fighter that he stole, is just leaving the planet. We're not going to know how he gets that back to Luthen or wherever it was supposed to be delivered to. He's got all three of them now on board on this ship. And now it's jumping a year. Mon Mothma gets smashed. Her daughter's married. She's eliminating a security risk as well as her lover. Her daughter hates her. Her husband looks like he doesn't know her, especially at the end of that episode. Yeah, doesn't know her. The whole stuff with fucking Deidre. She's given this promotion to go and basically, infiltrate this planet so they can mine the shit out of it for calcite. New fucking steel or whatever that Disney has created. Liquid calcite. And it just sounds so stupid just to say it. But before she leaves, all we get in regards to her is more stuff with her and Cyril, right? Shipper's going to love that. And the mother scene. That's it. That's where all these characters are a year after the events of season 1. And they don't even really close the story. They leave it all to just your imagination and what you think has happened off screen. Because the year goes by, man. They're not going to re-reference these things, are they? They are. They are. Remember what we had to do to your boyfriend? Be careful, Mon Mothma. We'll do that to you. Something, But during all of this, the music, and there's a lot of it in there, and especially when you got that commentary on or the subtitles on, and it's like sad music, creepy music, scary music, this kind of music, that kind of music. All the music that they put throughout this builds no tension. It does nothing. Also, too, I think that is because we kind of know where the characters end up. So, there is no real tension anyway. You just don't know good Star Wars, Rhino? Well, then I don't know good Star Wars. If this is good Star Wars, then yes, I don't know what good Star Wars is. It's correct. But yeah, that's it. And like I said, the entire conversation has been infiltrated by... We've just gone through the 3 episodes. We've just gone through the story of what they did for this 3-day period, a year after and a year away from the next stuff that we're going to see. They couldn't close the stories. They couldn't... they basically just left it open and, like I said, left to your own imagination in regards to how these things happen. My biggest thing is this one. How do you finish this story, right, without Andor finishing his mission? And man, fucking was Andor fucking backseated through these first 3 episodes. I can't believe it. He's the quote unquote hero at the end of I want to say season because it is literally a year. At the end of the 3 episodes, because he does essentially save Biggs. He saves the day. He obviously loses a friend in Doris. Trevor. Fucking who cares? And it's designed to show us how much pain and suffering fucking Andor goes through in regards to, I know it's not Boris. I don't care, man. Name them whatever they fucking want. What a name. It's so fucking stupid. The whole thing is so stupid. And you know what? I don't even care anymore. There's people on fucking Twitter. Where does that happen in the EU? Oh, what about this? Oh, you fucking idiot. I don't fucking care anymore. This stuff is so fucking shit. If you like it, I question your cognitive abilities. I really do. But good for you. Good for you. I almost envy you. Almost envy you to the point where I wish I could ignore how bad this shit is so I could just enjoy it. I wish I could think or feel like Luthen really shouldn't be in this story. As decent of a character as he is, and the concept behind his character is, I don't fucking care. Where's Bail Organa? I know you're bringing him in. And you had to. You fucking had to. Because if you didn't, that would have been an even bigger problem. But you're bringing him in way too fucking late. I still make the argument, why is Mon Mothma selling off her daughter? Why did she have to go through all of this? Why did he have to sacrifice fucking everything for 400,000 credits when Luthen's got 80 million of them that he stole from the Empire and I'm saying and/or there, she could have gone to Bail Organa. She has friends, and she has friends that know how important her cover is. And there's no chance that Bail Organa would do the amount of blackmailing or whatever to Mon Mothma that fucking the boyfriend's doing. Like I said, we've got the love triangles. One of those is being eliminated by the other love triangle's fucking partner, Cinta. And now we're starting a new love triangle between Val and Luthen's assistant. I love that commentary. She looks her over as she clops away. Clops away? Is that what it said? Something like that. I wonder if this stream's already fucked on. Because I was just thinking we should go and listen to the commentary of the grape scene. I really don't want to get this stream blocked. Eric, you just gotta wait. I'm sorry, buddy. Because fucking I've been feeding you too much. Because you've been complaining like this. Stop it. Is there anything really more that I can say? Again, the comedy aspects. I mean, we played some of it. You know, when Andor shows up at that planet and the guys that have got 15 blasters pointing at him are having an argument across the fucking... They're just yelling at each other. So fucking funny. And a lot of the comedy elements come from that. It's supposed to be this serious scene, but no, they throw in this bit of comedy. There was another scene, why can't I think of it? And this is why I should have continued taking notes. But there was another scene in one of the other episodes where I'm like, man, this is supposed to be a serious scene. And they're trying really hard to make it comedic in some way. Just block most of the picture. My streaming buddy, how you doing? Shut up, seriously. It's so far from fucking dinner time that, like, I don't understand you right now. I really don't. There's dry food there. You can eat that. He hates that. He hates the fucking dry food. What else is there? Like, Val was nothing in this, really. God, and that music again, it just cuts back and forward to it, and it's so like
grabs a shot and quickly throws it back. She immediately fetches herself another one.
And then it cuts away. She hasn't started raving yet. That's not until like now. Where?
Oh. Viciously hurls Kroll's stagger woundedly across the elbows him below the belt. He viciously hurls her into a stack of storage panels.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna actually listen to that. I might try and make a copy of it if there's anything interesting in there. Because to watch all of that with all the commentary would be way too much for a stream. Honestly, would. I just want to show you how irritating this music was because it kept cutting to it, and it's like, see, upbeat music.
Chandeliers. Mon dances.
It is honestly that over and over and over and over again. And I'm not even kidding. Let's get to the next bit. It's so like so irritating.
While he grooves through the mob of revelers. The wedding guests throb on the dance floor, throwing their hands.
You can't really hear it because the commentary is running over the top of it. And then it plays out this music for like the closing scenes for everything. So from everything from this scene onwards, going into him being taken away by what's her fucking face, to him Andor leaving the planet and everything, it's just playing that music.
A devastated woman stares blankly at the floor while daylight shifts.
And there it is.
His eyes meet Pix's. She stares back at him wearily. Sunlight flares into.
And then it's just that music that plays it out. Now, again, I'm going to say it is going to be interesting to see. It really is going to be interesting to see how the people that liked. It's already interesting to see how Maul is talking about it. But this is the first 3 episodes. And if I'm taking anything from what Chris Gore is saying, he thinks it just gets better. I don't think that he thinks that it's great or anything like that. I've seen him criticize the shit out of this show already, and he's seen it all. But he's definitely given it some praise and hope for at least the next 3 weeks being better than this. He said that this is the worst of it. I don't really care. I don't really care if it does get better or not. I really don't. It's Disney fucking Star Wars. Based on what we got from the first 3 episodes, should give you, remember when people used to say to us, wait for the entire season before you judge it? Well, it doesn't matter. It's still a part of the fucking season, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading that. Tony Gilroy. The only people that they can get into Star Wars are people that just don't give a fuck about it, really. And you know what's funny about that? Is when Ryan Gosling was like pranced out on stage at Star Wars Celebration, what did he look like? He looked like he knew nothing and didn't give a fuck. It's a fucking big paycheck for him. Big paycheck. I know you want food, but I'm pretending that you're telling me that he wanted a big paycheck so that I can ignore your fucking whinging. So that is what? The first week of Andor. And again, the entire conversation was hijacked by a grape scene that wasn't even, like nothing really happens. He attacks her, yes. With the intention, yes, which is made very clear. She stops him. She kills him. After we learn in episode 1 that she was originally assaulted when she was taken in season 1, sorry. And it just seemed unnecessary. It seems really unnecessary. And again, I don't have a problem with these things being implied or, showing that. I completely agree with what Robot Head was saying in regards to the fact that she should have said something along the lines as he attacked me, as opposed to blatantly straight out, he raped me. Or he tried to rape me, sorry. Again, it's funny when we get, it's for kids or it's, it's for adults or like, this is why I fucking never really listened to that shit. No, that's not Charles Purist. That's Eric. Eric's always the one that complains. Charles is always like his patient. He's got patience. Eric's got none. As soon as I said his name, then he looked at me and I'm not looking at him. We need an Eric emoji. I thought there was one. Wasn't there? Let me see. Yeah, you got... Oh, no, that's Charles in a hat. Yeah, we do need an Eric emoji. An Eric meowing emoji. So, I don't know. How are you guys... Like, I'm curious, just the people that... We've got, what, just under 40 people here in the chat. One in the chat, if you watched these 3 episodes, like from beginning to end, like watch the whole thing. 2s if you didn't, please. 1s if you watched it. 2 if you didn't. I just want to get a bit of an idea. Something. 1s if you watched it. 2s if you didn't. Few of you watched it. A couple of you there. A lot of you haven't. I'm curious, out of the ones that actually aren't watching it or didn't watch it, like, do you... it's hard to start separating people in the chat and seeing who's like right and what, but do you still think that like Star Wars has the possibility of actually coming back, or are you like... And like, if let's say you were watching like let's say Drinker's stream and even just let's say with Andor season 1, like did any of what they were sort of saying like change your thought process in regards to, hey, look, maybe we give this a shot? It seems to be, from what I'm hearing, good Star Wars. Or are you completely on the train of like, it doesn't even really matter whether or not it's good or not? Because to me, really, like, I want good Star Wars, but to me, it doesn't matter whether or not this is good or not. To me, it's not good. It's all bad. It's Disney Star Wars. There's a lot of garbage. And I think after going through that breakdown, I think I'm able to show you guys why I don't like it. with some pretty like obvious stuff. It's not as obvious as something like Kenobi. It's really not. Or Ahsoka, where it is just literally the jangling keys. Oh my God. I'm going to have to fucking feed him 3 hours earlier than I would usually do.
I don't understand.
I didn't say Siri. How did I say that? All right. Let's see. Did I have anything else here? There's a 3-minute clip here from Ahmed Best from Star Wars Celebration. This is one of the other days. Obviously, last week we were able to sit down and watch all of day one, which was torturous, but I think we had some fun. Yeah. Remember? We had a little bit of fun. Yeah. Some Star Wars fans in the crowd. Yeah. We had some fun. But this was from one of the other days, and it's Ahmed Best, I believe, now throwing shit in the fans' faces. So while I'm feeding the cats, I might just let this play out. We'll listen to it, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. So let me bring this up. Isn't it interesting how all of the people that used to say that Star Wars was the problem, or the critics specifically were the problem, and now they're heel turning? Huh? No, it's not that. It's the fans. It was always the fans. Let's see. I haven't actually watched this entire clip. I've heard about it. But let's take a listen. Well, I fucking feed you. Yes, I know. Oh, man. All right, here we go.
The elephant in the room, where there's a section of Star Wars fans that can be quite brutal, you know? And the reason why it affects us so much really has everything to do with what Anthony just said. I don't think you realize how much power you have when it comes to what we do, right? And what we have an extreme passion for. I know for Alan and myself, we grew up watching Anthony. And we grew up watching these movies. And at the time, there was no way to get there. There was no...
Sorry, I just had to quickly run over and say, what the fuck are you seriously talking about? Like, that is perfect for this, actually.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Like, seriously, dude. What are you talking about?
No path to Star Wars, right? I don't know why I was put in these movies. I really don't. I don't know why I was put on the journey that I was put on through these movies. But what it did make me realize was...
Again, what the fuck are you talking about?
The thing that we all are, we are this really wonderful community of people who actually care about these stories. And I had to put even the negative comments, I had to put that in a place. And I had to realize that those comments are coming from care. As odd as that might sound, right? Star Wars is very personal to every single one of us. We all want to see our Star Wars movie, what we have in our heads, right? And sometimes that doesn't happen on screen. And when that doesn't happen on screen, there's, a comment. But the people...
But you also talked about earlier how we had a lot of power. And we had, obviously, you're talking power of influence over these stories. You mentioned that we can be quite brutal sometimes. And yes, it definitely does come from a place of passion. But I certainly don't think that the people out there are listening, because the Star Wars that you are giving us isn't Star Wars that any Star Wars fan wants. The Star Wars that you're giving us is certainly the stuff that the Disney Star Wars fan want. Representation, shipping, stories that you don't need a brain to actually enjoy. Like, that is what you're basically saying, that yes, they are. They're listening to the Disney Star Wars shills, to the Disney Star Wars seals, to the fans, those fans, the Disney Star Wars fans. They are not listening to Star Wars fans at all, and they haven't for a very long time. And those are the ones that are being brutal. And the only reason why you have to say that it comes from a place of passion is because you know that those fans are right, because they know the stories, because the stories is where their passion comes from. So go back to your Disney, Star Wars, Lucasfilm fucking factory of making absolute garbage and continue playing this fucking stupid game where it's the fans' fault for what they created. It always has been, right, Ahmed? It was never the critics, because the internet has been forever. Social media has been forever. For longer than I can remember. Born 1983, internet was everywhere. Social media was fucking everywhere. Criticism was fucking everywhere. All the way through the 90s. All the way through the early 2000s. You should have seen it. It was insane. There was racism everywhere. Everywhere. You couldn't hide from it. You fucking retard. This is your Disney paycheck slurring at your goddamn disgusting little fucking two-faced mouth.
People who are putting these stories on screen care about you.
No, they don't. You actually, the people that you're addressing right now, yeah, they do. Huh, the Disney ones. You know what they don't care about? George Lucas. You know what else they don't care about? George Lucas Star Wars. You know what else they don't care about? The EU. The fans of all of that stuff, all of those stories. They don't give a flying fuck about them. And you're trying to sit there telling me that you at Star Wars Celebration, and one of the, probably the biggest failures of Star Wars Celebration I've ever seen, you, Ahmed Best, Jar Jar Binks, Jedi savior of Grogu that nobody can remember your fucking name, is sitting up there at Star Wars Celebration 2025 in Japan saying the fans are brutal, but it comes from passion. But at the same time, we're thinking about you. We're thinking about all of you. We're doing this for you. We're creating this for you. If you just went through my breakdown, you're certainly not creating any form of Star Wars for me. And I would say a lot of people in this chat as well. And look, I know we've got 33 people watching right now. And thank you for being here. Smash that like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Become a member. Not that there's much there, but thank you. But yeah, like, we are a very small amount of people compared to the amount of people that think exactly the same way and just don't give a fuck and hear what you have to say and laugh at you based on your previous comments. Let's finish this out.
We all care about you.
No, you don't.
Not just, as people who want to keep doing this, but as people who were sitting right there, exactly where you are, looking up at that screen and going, I want to be there. I want to live there. I want to be a part of this. So we care what you think. And it does quite get cynical, in the social media world about like, oh, they don't really care. This is Disney, and that was George, and this is this, and that was the prequels, and that was the sequels, and not as good as the OG. For us, We want to make these things and we want you to enjoy these things. And we put our entire heart and soul into the work we do. We really care. You know, we really care about making this. We really care about watching this, right?
That's it. That's the clip. I think I've said what I really wanted to say. I don't buy it, Ahmed. I don't. Yes, you are correct. They are making Star Wars for all of these people standing here. Yep. The ones that don't give a fuck. Now, it's hard to say that when they might have bought tickets and flew from a whole different country just to go to Japan, just to go for Disney Star Wars Celebration. But that's the whole point, right? It's Disney Star Wars. It ain't real Star Wars. It's nothing about it is Star Wars. We just went through 3 episodes of Andor that had nothing to do with Star Wars. Had a Star Wars skin, certainly. But at the end of the day, it really had nothing to do with Star Wars. So that was the Ahmed Best clip. And let me just say, in regards to Star Wars Celebration, what a failure that was, huh? What did we learn that we didn't already know? They confirmed the rumor about Ryan Gosling. It was out there. It was a rumor. They confirmed it. Okay? For a Sean Levy Star Wars show, which they gave us a title for. That's it. And apparently they're already in production. They're already shooting. Okay. That's a lot more ahead than maybe what we thought. But it's nothing really that new. But it was sort of new. It was probably one of the newest things that they announced. The only other thing that I think that we got that was really that new from Star Wars Celebration, 3 days worth of fucking nothing, was Maul. Maul's coming back for another animated fucking show. The funny thing is I heard that they announced something after Star Wars Celebration. They announced another movie or something after Star Wars Celebration. How does that make sense? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm too fucked right now to even bother checking. But I did hear that. I'm not sure if I heard it from Ryan. I think I heard it on one of Ryan's streams, or he did a video or something. Something. But that's all we learned from Star Wars Celebration this year in regards to any new stuff. There was no mention of the Rey movie. You know, when they brought up those fucking things at previous D23s and Star Wars celebrations and stuff like that, where they've got this timeline of this comes out this time and this comes out this year, and then we're going to do all of these shows and this is slotting in here. You know, the timeline thread that they usually show, graph kind of thing. Did I say Ryan Reynolds? Because I have said that before and I've got it mixed up. If I did, I meant Ryan Gosling, but I'm just reading this and I don't know whether or not I actually said not Ryan Reynolds. Let's do Seal of the Week. And then we'll watch this little clip that I had from Tony Gilroy. I don't know whether or not this is recent or whether or not we actually got this. I feel like we actually already knew this from season 1, but it's like sort of resurfaced again, obviously, especially because of how you'll see some of the shills have reacted to it. Again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I know that there were other streams going on. Is the Jack show actually happening? I would assume so. I wouldn't see why it's not. Yes, that's over on Cecil's channel. I know that Star Wars Marvel Purist was streaming beforehand. I'm kind of curious. Like last week we had like 70 people. And like today, I think we've had around sort of the 40 mark. I don't know, maybe around the mid 40s. I just don't know. Where did those people come from? Was that because of theory or something? What were we talking about last week? I don't know. What did I have in the title for last week? Let me just check something. Don't get me wrong. Like, thank you to the 40 people that have been here and coming in and out and watching and shit. Like, you're all, like, I appreciate it. But it's just, it's funny to me how that works. What do we have? Star Wars news, season 2, Kelly Marie Tran. It was Star Wars Celebration, wasn't it? That's what it was. And I was probably one of the only ones on that first day that was actually streaming it live. I think there was a couple of others. That's what it would have been. That's what it would have been. But you guys are legends, so we're going to do Seal of the Week here. Let's do that. Oh, hang on. What was that comment I just saw? That's a great question too, Matthew. Like, I think so. I think it is. But, like, where was any of that at Star Wars Celebration? Like, that didn't come up at all, I don't think. Where is Ryan Gosling? I haven't seen him in the chat. Has he been here at all, guys? I haven't seen him. Ryan Gosling, if you are in the chat, make yourself known. All right. Let's do this.
I'm all the Jedi.
Now the cats are all pepped up and full of food. They're now fighting each other. All right, so Sawyer actually hasn't had a nomination in a fairly long time. You know, her becoming a flight attendant and all. I don't know how that's going for her. I really don't pay that much attention to her. But Robot Head this week basically put her, like, maybe yelled this in her face. I can't really remember exactly the story. Pretty sure he bumped into her and he decided to yell this in her face, but that's just a rumor that I heard. The Disney shills are absolutely insane. And this is what she had to say. If you have never experienced SA and you're complaining that your Star Wars has been what's that? Solid. Because it is. Because of it, sorry. Soiled, sorry. Because of it, you reek of filth and privilege. Like, this is another reason why this scene was essentially put in there. You sound drunk. I know. I'm not well and my dyslexia is fucking me over. I don't know whether or not you're laughing at the way I read it. It might have been. But you could be laughing at what she's saying. Because what she's saying is absolutely ridiculous. Again, this is why I just feel like this scene was completely unnecessary. This whole thing was completely unnecessary. And it was only put in there because, you know, this is the climate that we live in the real world. Now, I put a post out there saying, like, even with the, you know, the World War II scene that we were talking about and the Krennic stuff and everything that we went through, I put a tweet out there saying, like, you know, it's just real world politics that they're inserting into it. And people were saying, like, there's always been politics, blah, 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 all of that kind of thing. And yes, in world politics, yes. And I understand that they're apparently mining this stuff because they need it for the Death Star or something like that, even though it looked like they were completing the Death Star at the end of Andor Season 1. But like just the premise of what like it's just so on the nose. It really is just so on the fucking nose. Nazis, you know, going in and fucking over this entire fucking planet so they can mine the shit out of it and pretty much destroy the planet. Nominee number 2. I don't think this person's had a nomination before. Santa Mayo, I don't know how to say it. Was there pronouns? No, there wasn't any pronouns. This is peak evil couple romance. Literally no dialogue, but music and their actions make this so perfect. So it was just that scene that we were talking about before. I don't think I'd even be able to play this whole thing because it's pretty much a minute long. But yeah. Just the music, them being sinister. Like, she pretty much puts this on. She puts a smile, like a fake smile on at one point. There. And then she takes it away and goes back to her disgusting looking face. See, now that's Charles because they're play fighting. And because I said his name, so he went quiet. So yeah, there's that. So that's nominee number 2 this week. Nominee number 3. Everyone say thank you, Tony Gilroy. Yep. And then the last nominee goes to Kyle Katarn. Catfished Katarn. He'd be feeling it. He'd be feeling it for sure. And Kyle Katarn doesn't usually get too many nominations. But he's definitely got one this week. If that scene in Andor made you uncomfortable, good. It was supposed to. You should be far more worried if it didn't. You'd be far more worried if it didn't. I'd be far more worried if it didn't. I don't know exactly what he's saying there. You should be far more worried if you didn't. Sorry. Said dyslexia. Fucking retarded shit. This is again why, like, because it happens in real life, you better be fucking like uncomfortable by this. Like, dude, we've had rape and stuff like that in shows and movies and stuff before. And because it's relevant and everything to the story, like, yes, it's uncomfortable to watch, but nobody talks about it like it's unnecessary or anything like that because it's a part of the story. It's necessary to the story. This is completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. We already knew from the dream that she had that she'd been SA'd when she was being a prisoner in season 1. And she was also fucking mind fucked and tortured. Isn't that enough for this character? What are the chances, again, I would like to say, what are the chances of her bumping into another Imperial that wants to do that to her? Crazy. She's a rape magnet. Maybe it's something she's doing. Oh, don't say that. Fucking, this is why it's unnecessary. So unnecessary. And again, there's been I don't have a problem with a scene like this being in a Star Wars story. Right? But in this story, it was unnecessary. It's a big fucking galaxy. There's a lot of scum and villainy in this fucking world. I have no doubt that shit like that happens. Jabba's a fucking freak. Rape has happened in the EU with the one example that I do have is with Boba Fett's wife in the EU. Anyway, there are your 4 nominees. We're going to go back through them again, but let me put the poll in the chat. Let me get that going first. And again, it's hijacked the entire fucking narrative. Now, when the next episode comes out and there's no rape scene in it, it's going to be good because it's not as bad as fucking the first 3 episodes, is it? It's if you've even got a problem with it. All right. There's the poll. So, number 1 is Sawyer. Number 2, just the one about fucking peak evil couple romance shit going on here and freaking out over that. Fucking shippers loving that shit. Fucking weirdos come out of the woodwork when this shit comes out. Everybody praising RR, praising fucking Tony Gilroy, and fucking Kyle Katarn saying you better be uncomfortable by the scene. If you wouldn't, I'd be worried. To everyone suggesting a trigger warning for episode 3, I couldn't agree more. So, that's almost a contradiction in tweets, right? Like, you better watch it and you better be uncomfortable by it. Understand that happens in the real fucking world. But they should have put a trigger warning on it. I don't know. For anyone out there, I suppose, that has been raped before, and they like Star Wars and they're watching that, yeah, maybe it made them feel uncomfortable. Maybe it needed a trigger warning. Maybe it just needs to be Star Wars. And Star Wars has never needed trigger warnings before, and it's been for everyone. How about that? How about that? All right, let's listen to Tony Gilroy now.
I came in after the director's cut. I have a screenplay credit in the arbitration. That was...
Oh, yeah, this is old. So this is about Rogue One, I'm pretty sure. 2018.
Easily won.
Right.
So that's
it's
the real
clear
estate.
that you remade the movie.
Did I
Were you
sweat it?
scared about it because it's
No,
Star Wars?
Because
I'm asking the emotional question,
No,
not the narrative.
no, I was actually, in fact, that was my superpower. I don't like I just never been interested in Star Wars ever. So I had no reverence for it whatsoever. I was unafraid about that.
You know, I think that he doesn't like Star Wars, but he realized just as he was saying, I don't like Star Wars. Oh, no, it's not that I don't like Star Wars. I was just never interested in it. You know, his true thoughts came out when he first said it. I don't like Star Wars. But he realized that obviously being that he's saying this publicly, and he's doing Star Wars stuff, he better, quickly shut down. Oh, no, sorry, I misspoke. It's just that I was never interested in Star Wars. It's one and the same, really, isn't it? If you were never interested in Star Wars by this time of your life, and you've been around for all of Star Wars, if you don't like Star Wars at this stage in your life, why are you making Star Wars? I mean, you made it very clear that you don't want to put in the droids. You've made it very clear that you don't have the vision for this universe. You might have a good pen. You might be able to write dialogue and characters reasonably well. But in this universe, there's a lot of shit because you don't care about it that you don't put in that makes it not Star Wars. Again, it's almost like the fucking what do you call it? Skeleton Crew all over again. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine if it's just like a kid's adventure story. If the kids are retarded and don't have a brain and can't think through certain things, right? Yeah, okay, it's fine. As soon as you insert into Star Wars, now I've got a lot of fucking questions. What's this planet? How is this planet being hidden? What's it facilitating? What are the comms like between this planet and the Republic? What? I need answers to now these questions that you've opened up in this universe that's supposed to make sense in this time period. Tony Gilroy, you don't care about any of that. That's why on the surface level of your storytelling, it's fine. Soon as you insert it in Star Wars, it's got big fucking problems.
And they were in such a swamp.
They needed you.
Well, they were just in so much terrible trouble that all you could do is improve their position. It was just a mess.
Oh, it was that bad.
And they
that
just
all
got
Tony
themselves
Gilroy
in-
could
and
do, the non-fan of Star Wars could make it better.
because it wasn't really my movie for a while. I slept every night. Like in
Right.
my own movie, I wouldn't sleep, but like because it was somebody
Well,
else.
you weren't going to have a director's credit on the movie, so
Right.
it wasn't directed
Right, well,
by you.
but at a certain point, it kind of tipped. You go like, at a certain point, everybody's looking at you like, well,
Yeah.
and then you're like, but through a lot of it, I was pretty calm and chill, and I was in London. I was having a great time. I was throwing strikes every day.
Right.
I was so happy to be engaged. My own.
He was throwing strikes every day. He was hitting winners every fucking day. Everything that he brought to the table was a winner.
Well, my endorphins were fine. I was happy with what I was doing in front of me. I had this. I mean, my God.
Of course, the resources.
It's a Ferrari,
and all that.
man.
No,
Oh, my
clearly
God.
that was
Anyway.
amazing.
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
So you loved the experience.
I
Would you
had a
make a
great
Star
time.
Wars movie? I'm
Never,
sure they asked
never.
you and you didn't want to go.
No, there's
do it.
nothing. I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like the world if it doesn't matter.
No,
to you.
it doesn't matter.
Beyond
No,
doing
it doesn't
that
appeal
thing.
to me. No, but I don't think Rogue really is a Star Wars movie in many ways. To me, it's a Battle of Britain movie.
The people making the best Star Wars Disney Star Wars has done. You could argue Rogue One. He's been involved and saved that. And Andor being the quote unquote best Disney Star Wars Plus Disney Plus show. Doesn't even fucking care. How sad is that though? Like when you actually think about that. All right, how are we going on the poll? Because I got to get out of here. Oh, wow. The two newbies. Oh, we got one vote just then for one of the newbies, but it's pretty much split. It's pretty much split. What are we looking at? So with 19 votes in the bank, I'm going to just say it's between Sawyer and Carl Catan. There is no coming back for any of the. I think this one's only got one vote and this one's got none. None. No one cares about you people. It's the top shills and the top seals that are getting all the votes. All right, I think we are going to just end the poll there. Thank you guys for voting. I appreciate it. So we're going to end the poll. Okay, so in last place with no votes was number 2, the peak evil couple romance stuff. In second last place, sorry, with 10% of the vote was number 3, thanking Tony Gilroy with pretty much one vote. And then it was very tight between these two. So Kyle Katarn comes runner-up this week with 42% of the vote. Sorry, Kyle. And the winner this week with 47%, very close, is Sawyer. Because I dare say she would argue that she has been essayed. I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% certain if she's ever actually said that. I'm pretty sure there has been implications of her saying that before. So this would be very personal for her. I still think it's retarded. And again, this is why you don't bring stuff like this for no reason into a story like this. So congratulations, though, Sawyer. You win this week's Seal of the Week.
I'm all the Jedi.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm actually really happy with this, despite how I'm feeling right now. I'm happy with this stream. Thanks for being patient with me, guys, and hanging out. I think we did pretty well to be able to get through those 3 episodes. And I'm glad that we sort of just took off with that, because anyone that wants to just come and watch, they're just going to get straight into it, which was really good. Yeah, I was going to watch the Predator trailer, but I really, really just don't care. After seeing the image of what I saw, and the fact that, again, I think Hollywood is just completely bankrupt, like creatively bankrupt, that they got to keep going back to the well of good franchises and just make them horrible. I feel like CGI and graphics, special effects these days have actually gotten way worse. I mean, a good example of that is just seeing the Silver Surfer, seeing the Silver Surfer from 20 years ago, whenever fucking we got the fucking original, like the original movie of Fantastic Four, compared to what we saw in this most recent trailer. Like, wow. I find it funny that they had to make it so dark to try and make it look any fucking good. And like, Predator, I just don't care anymore. Like, fucking hell. I heard Prey was good. I never watched it, though. Never watched it. But again, also too, just a shout out to all the Anzacs. It is Anzac Day here in Australia, which if in America, it's kind of like a bit of a Veterans Day, I suppose. I think that would sort of be the equivalent day. So to all our service members, past and present, thank you for your service. I do feel for you that you've got to fight for a country that doesn't love you anymore, really. Well, at least from the top, there's a lot of that. And for the ones that actually fought for our freedom and actually died for our freedom and gave, sacrificed for our freedom, the fact that our freedom right now is actually being threatened is a scary, scary, scary thought. E. Clay Thomason. Haven't had too many super chats or messages today, but again, I have been reading the chat. I haven't really been. It's been hard for me today, guys. I'm sorry. I've been really off. But E. Clay Thomason, thank you for the gift memberships. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. All the members. I see you guys a lot. I see a lot of you in a lot of different chats, a lot of different streams. You're always here. And I appreciate that. Who do we get? We got Smorgan, Doc, Andrew, Sean, and Riffster. Thanks for the gift of memberships. We really appreciate it. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Probably not, and I should probably go. Next week, I'm sure I'll be feeling a lot better. It'll be a lot more energetic, and we can get through the next 3. I think for the next 3 weeks, that's what it's going to be. It's really going to be just full breakdowns because I don't think I can review these episodes. They're obviously 45 minutes to an hour long, anywhere in that time. So you're talking sort of 2.5 to 3 hours, like movie length. I can't do the reactions the way I usually do my reactions, where you get to see my actual reactions as I watch it, which is a shame because I will say there's a lot of eye rolling and a lot of what the fuck and this and that going on while I'm watching it. But yeah, with the way that they've released it, it is just too hard. So over the next 3 weeks, this is pretty much how I'm going to be releasing this. I did obviously drop a video last week, but it was just a clip from a stream because we were obviously doing Star Wars Celebration. Gorman, false flag, maybe next 3. LOL, fucking Andor. Yeah. And look, I just don't think that releasing it like this, like, I understand why they're doing it, and I guess it's probably a better thing, because honestly, if they had have released just that first episode, they would have lost a lot of people. Even going into the second episode a week later, if they had have done it that way. So I understand why they're doing it this way. But yeah, fuck. It's just too difficult. Full-time working and, you know, if I can then come home from work, dinner, feed the cats, clean up a bit, do my shit, and then sit down, watch 2.5 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours of Andor that fucking hurts my brain. And then having to sit down and edit all of that would just, it would just take way too long. By the time I finish doing all of that work for that much stuff, I'd be doing Casual Rage. You know what I'm saying? I feel your pain, brother. I'm just, again, I'm interested to see, I know I was sort of heading out, but let me just sort of, I don't know, we'll get out when I leave. But, and it's just going to be interesting to see how this sort of plays out in regards to the commentary out there. You know, each week, the 3 episodes, it's just going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. That's all I've really got to say. I think I've got my attention a lot on Mauler because everybody always says to me, oh, Mauler liked it, must mean that it's good. Every time I fucking criticize it, every fucking time I criticize it, I always hear a Mauler or Drinker likes it. I always. So I just want to see what they have to say about it. And based on what, like, you know, I've watched some of Critical Drinker's stream and Mauler was on there and stuff. And I know that there's parts of it that he does still like. I know that he likes Luthen a lot still. He likes his character. He likes a lot of that stuff. But I know that he can see the flaws in it. And he has sort of mentioned that. He has sort of mentioned the flaws. He's laughed at a lot of stuff, you know. But based on what I'm hearing from Chris Gore, moving into the next 3 weeks, the next 3 years of Andor in world, is it going to be any good? And see how they react to it. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you everyone again for being here. Please do smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And don't forget, we're still trying to find out the truth of who Darth Plagueis the Wise is.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the movie. There's one scene that sticks out, and it probably sticks out for everybody, which is that, you know, have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it?
You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin, ain't like Dustin Crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store, or bounce into a supermarket, and then
Yeah.
be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing your deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
We bounced too near a supermarket?